The trade deadline is finally upon us. Welcome to our 2025 trade deadline live stream here on Deal in the Cards. We'll do a little bit more reaction to the Ryan Helley trade from last night. Steven Matz was traded to the Boston Red Sox around midnight last night. Phil Maton, we still expect a deal to go down there. Could JoJo Romero be moved? Could one of the Cardinals' young bats be moved? Is there a surprise Nolan Arenado trade? AJ Preller is sending top prospects left and right for closers right now. We'll react to what's happening in the Cardinals world and just around the baseball world on the special episode trade deadline live stream over here on Deal in the Cards. Welcome into Deal in the Cards. If you're jumping in with us for the first time, we're a St. Louis Cardinals podcast. We go live multiple times a week, and we, especially for special days like this, love to bring as much coverage as we possibly can. Like and subscribe helps channel a ton. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If you're watching later, or especially if you're in the live stream, let us know what you're thinking. We appreciate you guys tuning in. There's been a fun, we got Bill and Buck and Jackie and Steve, some of our regulars in the chat already. Hope to hear more from you guys as we go through. Sandy, for sure, the best dressed as always. Yes, he's got that.
Appreciate that.
He's got the polo on. And we do now have two Blazes in the organization, Jackie, after the trade last night. So did you guys see that Blaze Jordan drew a comp to Babe Ruth this morning from Baseball America?
That's
hit.
No, it's because of his running style.
Oh, that's the worst possible way.
So funny. So
the only way it could be worse is if they're like, yeah, he eats 6 hot dogs during the game in the dugout.
We know people are jumping in right now. And so we'll be reacting to things. I know some of you probably caught our episode from yesterday, live reactions to the Ryan Helley trade. But we'll do some more reactions to this as well. Andrew, we didn't get to catch your reaction because you weren't in there for that. How'd you feel about the Ryan Helley trade last night? And then let's talk about the Steven Matz return, and then we'll talk about the state of the deadline as we go through.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely caught me off guard. I thought they were going to wait. I didn't think the reliever market was going to develop that quickly, and then Duran got traded, and Helley got traded like 10 minutes later. So, the return package, I've heard a lot of mixed things about it. Honestly, you're giving up 2 months of Ryan Helley, which to you is probably not worth anything because this team, as we've seen over the last post All-Star break, has just looked absolutely terrible. The offense has fallen flat multiple times. The pitching has also kind of just not been good at all. Like Eric Fetty's gone, but McGreevy didn't have a great start. Mikolas looks better, but I still don't think you can trust the group that you have right now to get you the postseason. The bullpen was good, but you're blowing that up now. I think you should blow it up even more by trading JoJo Romero. But yeah, I mean, getting 3 prospects back, all of which have some pretty interesting.
The New York Mets just acquired a former Cardinals outfielder, Adolis Garcia.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bader. Oh no, he's a.
I thought you were going to say Tommy Pham, but
wow, Adolis Garcia. I did not see that happening. So
that's hilarious.
That in there.
Aren't the Rangers the Rangers have a playoff spot, right?
They're hanging around. They're not selling. They're just moving on from Garcia, who's been pretty bad this year. They're definitely still looking for relief help. Phil Maton, JoJo Romero.
I like the reactions from Taylor here on the returns. But yeah, keep going, Andrew. I thought that was noteworthy.
Yeah, I mean, what are the Rangers? Yeah, the Rangers have the third wild card. They're tied with the Mariners right now.
Garcia has a 667 OPS on the year, but he's played good defense, so 2.5 BPM.
Hey, really, really sad that we lost him back when we did. Anyway, I think, yeah, if Maton's your final move, I'm not too happy about that. I would expect him to be traded at some point in the next 2 hours. But, for Ryan Helley, I didn't expect to get what Duran got you, which was like a top 50 guy and some more because he had 2 extra years of control. Also, he's just been better than Ryan Helley. Ryan Helley's had an up and down season. I think he's looked a lot better recently. But, there have been issues, and he's not as dominant as he was last year. But you're getting guys with higher upside than I think you would have if you had moved him in 2023 with the major league ready guys, that like the Drew Roms and the Adam Kloffensteins of the world, which I'm not really. I wasn't really sold on that philosophy. I like this a lot more, where you're getting guys that are a little bit further away from Major League ready, and getting guys that could actually become impact players. Drew Rum, I don't think is going to be doing much of anything for you anytime soon. Although, if you did want to move on from Miles Mikolas, maybe you could have him make some starts for you down the road. But I don't think Miles Mikolas wants to be traded, even though he's added 3 ticks of velocity to his fastball, which is kind of crazy that he seems to be figuring something out. He's had 2 pretty good starts back to back. The fastballs looked a lot better. So
Marlins come calling. He lives in Jupiter. Yeah. Come on.
I mean, I think you just I don't know why Mo can't just be like, hey, Miles, you're either going to be DFA'd or you're going to
because who else?
Well, he could do it, but
yeah, he could.
I feel like why wouldn't you do that?
I mean, at this point, does it really matter? They've made the space for McGreevy, and everyone else.
So you could get something back from Miles Mikolas, who's terrible.
Are you going to get something?
If you're moving Miles Mikolas, you're doing it solely for the fact to move off the rest of the $17.5 million he's doing.
Which actually matters. DeWitt a little bit happier, and he wants to spend all more money next year, then who cares?
Yeah. I think
I don't want to see Miles Mikolas pitch for this team. I don't care how fast his fastball is.
Yeah. I think ultimately.
Have you guys seen the clip of Miles pitching to Eugenio Suarez?
No.
Someone captioned on Twitter and they were like, this is the most uncompetitive pitching motion I've ever seen. And with that in mind, I was just laughing so hard at it. He has that big hitch in his motion. It's so funny looking.
So bad. I do think well, first of all, really annoyed by the Keith Law thing from last night. Not at Keith Law. It wasn't his fault, but the guy at The Athletic, because I said it on the stream with Sandy, called it a haul for the Cardinals and took Law's quote and explained why it was a haul for the Cardinals, and then later went in and changed it to say it was a haul for the Mets and explained why it's a haul for the Mets because he misquoted Keith Law. The Athletic's own writer misquoted Keith Law of The Athletic. And so we shared that on here. Bernie tweeted it out. It was shared in multiple platforms, but The Athletic did nothing to indicate that they changed it. They just went in there and changed the facts. So you have people coming in here on the comments, which I understand because if you didn't see the original thing, it looks like we're dumb that we misread it. But they misreported and misquoted their own writer and then changed it without telling anyone. I think it's just that's beneath them. I have a lot of respect for Athletic, but that's pretty bogus. And so really frustrated by that one. But on Law specifically, and it probably sounds a little revisionist being oh, you were Law called it a haul, and now you're oh, it doesn't matter. My point is I do care what his thoughts are. When it's a rental, I don't know how you get fleeced per se. You could obviously been wow, they should have squeezed the lemon a lot more here. But first of all, I don't when we were talking about Helley, I was it's really hard to assess the value because of the reliever market. But Duran had an extra year of control and was better. Mason Miller, I saw someone say, someone on Twitter said if you traded Helley and Fetty this offseason, you could have gotten the Mason Miller return, which I laughed. I don't usually laugh out loud at things that often, when I read it, but I laughed out loud because it was terrible. It's no, they were not getting that for Mason Miller or for Fetty and Helley in the offseason. I don't know what they could have gotten. But Helley at this deadline, it felt pretty could have maybe got a little bit more, maybe could have gotten a little bit less, maybe, but I felt it was pretty on the point of what I thought it would be. It doesn't mean these guys are going to work out, but even if they don't, Helley didn't mean anything to you down the stretch. So any positive value you get from these guys matters. Jeff Ponce was on I joked earlier, he compared Blaze Jordan to Babe Ruth for the running style, but he was on 101 ESPN and talked about how the 2 arms really kind of reflects some of the stuff that Bloom was targeting when he was building up the Rays pitching development Red Sox pitching development when he first got there. I like the kind of arms they targeted there. Will they be impact arms? No, but they have the potential to be starters. And a start at the major league level, if you develop one that even gets you 2 seasons, that's a valuable thing. And then Baez is an upside play where probably more talking about upside of a major league regular. But again, major league regulars are valuable. And if you give 2 months of a closer away who's been pretty good this year but not great, oh gosh, well, yeah, Nolan Arenado's not happening. Woof. Carlos Correa has been traded to the Houston Astros, so that's pretty crazy. We'll get to that in a second because that doesn't affect no way Nolan happens at this point. So that's my point is I have a hard time overreacting to the current thing of it. Oh, we got Kareem in here as well, so we'll have to pop in. What's up,
What
Correa?
up? Come on.
What's going on, guys?
Excited that you're here today, man. This should be fun.
Absolutely. I really loved the Ryan Helley package yesterday. We can talk about that if you guys want. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what the Cardinals end up doing, what they can get back for Phil Maton, and if they do anything else. Doesn't seem like it, but yeah, still interested to see what ends up happening.
Yeah, let's jump back to that in just a second. Let's react. I don't know if you just saw the news. Carlos Correa was traded to the Houston Astros. I'm very surprised they pulled off the money to make it happen right now, but clearly, like, their Twins ownership is in a ton of debt right now, and they're also trying to sell the team. So I understand moving as much money as they possibly could. I'm honestly shocked, though, that they figured out how to. We don't have any of the details yet on the return or the amount of money being moved and changing hands here, but yeah, like, Carlos Correa is on the move. I think that pretty much I think we all kind of thought the Nato stuff was dead today, but that should have really killed it. I don't know. Anyone have an instant reaction to Correa being an Astro again? Besides
surprising,
the Cheaters reunion is in Houston.
Yeah, well, he's not there with his cheating buddy Bregman anymore, but it's surprising to me for sure. I can't imagine that Carlos Correa is that much more attractive than Nolan Arenado right now. He's on the hook for more money for more years, and he's, I mean, about equally as bad as Arenado, but he's younger. So maybe you're like, oh, he'll get a little better, but also, like, he's younger. He could get worse as he ages even further. I really don't understand the move. I mean, I guess
I think
maybe the Twins are eating
familiarity.
Money.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, that can help, but at the same time, like, aren't you familiar with Nolan Arenado if you nearly acquired him this offseason? Like, I'm sure they did all their due diligence on him this past offseason. They were ready to acquire him. They'd already pulled the trigger on that deal. Like, you know the player very well at that point. I'm surprised. I guess it's whatever, but I am a little disappointed. I was hoping we'd be able to move Arenado, and I thought he was the more attractive option in some ways for sure.
I'm not ready to give up on Carlos Correa. We're talking about a guy that had a 155 WRC plus last year, 4-win player. Like, obviously there's going to be a lot of money that you're taking on with this contract. But at the same time, I mean, he's just 1 year away from that 55% above league average offensive production season. He can still play shortstop. I mean, he's not having the best season, and he's not getting any younger. I think this is his age 30 season. He's about to turn 31, but I mean, he's just one year away from like a 155 WRC plus. I think that the Astros are betting on him getting back to that level, and yeah, should be interesting to see like how he plays down the stretch with the Astros for a team that is one of the best teams in the American League right now.
Yeah, but it's like that was in 86 games last year. There are injury concerns, and in the year before that, when he played 135, which is the most you're going to see out of Correa at this point, with injury concerns over the last 5+ seasons, he gave you a 94 WRC plus. So I mean, still, like, two bad seasons in a row, or out of the last 3, and the best one he played the least amount of games in. I mean, they definitely see something that they don't see in Arenado, and that's why they pulled the trigger. I wonder how much money they take on. I really am interested to see how much money Minnesota is able to move here. And if they're able to move all of it, that'd be super impressive, but I highly doubt that, right? With the kind of year Correa's having and the amount of money he's due. Wasn't like a 6-year, $200 million contract he signed?
Yeah, I think it's like 3 more years of 30 million, but then after that it drops down kind of like Nato does into the 20s, and then last year's like 15 also like his. So I do think however much money they take on here will matter, because honestly, like, we forget Nolan Arenado, when he was traded from the Rockies to the Cardinals, was coming off of it was a shortened season as well, but he was coming off of a career worst year in 2020. At the time, people were like, wow, the Cardinals fleeced the Rockies because they literally gave up nothing and got $50 million in return. But there were concerns, and there was a reason why the Rockies wanted to trade him as well, is that he's potentially aging and declining, and it ended up happening. For Correa,
he also almost won the MVP, which was nice.
Yeah, but Correa could also have a similar trajectory as what Nato had here.
True.
Also familiar with players, and also I do think it's been widely reported that in Houston, Jim Crane, their owner, is very involved and loves big names, loves recognizable stars. And so, like, it might have been out of the front office's control here in terms of they might have kind of had to go make this move because that's what Jim Crane wanted. And at that point, like, can't blame the front office on that one. Also, again, like, totally agree with you. Like, depending on how much money they take on here, I could see a world where it made more sense to go after Nato. But one, again, if ownership make this happen, then you can't control it. But B, if it sounds like I'm looking at some of the early reporting, like Bob Nightingale said that this warning was on life support because the Twins balked at eating a significant part of the salary. Did the Twins change their mind and eat a significant part of it? Because if so, then this is different. I don't know if that means Astros had to give up much to get him either. I could see a world where the Twins are kind of like, hey, we kind of regret this contract. If you take, like, we'll eat some of it, but if you take most of it, we're fine not having anything in return here. Especially because, again, the ownership concerns in Minnesota are real too, where they're $500 million in debt and trying to sell the team. And I mean, you're not going to get more than $2 billion for that team. So you're talking about a fourth of the sale price. It's just the debt you're already accumulating. So anyways, I think it's a really tricky situation. I thought there's too much with the numbers to make it come together today, though.
Yeah. Hopefully over the offseason, there's something that develops.
I mean, we're honestly at a point where in the offseason, the Cardinals might have to look in the mirror and say, do we like DFA or do you just bite the bullet? But
they won't DFA Arenado this offseason. I don't think there's a chance.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is my mic working fine?
Oh yeah, you're good now.
We got you now. It's better.
Sounds good.
Kareem, so we said we'll circle back to it. I know people are eager to hear kind of your thoughts regarding the Helley trade last night. We talked about some of the Steven Matz, Boyce Jordan stuff, and then hopefully by then maybe we've got another deal going on. If not, then we can start talking about stuff going on around the league. But yeah, what were your thoughts on that Helley return?
Yeah, I thought the Cardinals would get less for Helley. Baez, Dome, and Ellisalt, I think they're all going to be inside my top 20 updated prospect list. And, to get that sort of value for a rental reliever, I mean, this is more value you're getting back than a potential comp pick, right? I think that the Cardinals got more in return here with this trade, getting a Jesus Baez shortstop, probably more than likely going to end up at third base. I think he'll play some second base as well, but we're talking about a guy 20 years old, intriguing hit power combo. The StatCast data last year in his age 19 season was really impressive. Nate Dom, he's a right-hand pitcher that was one of my favorite arms in last year's class. Has some injury stuff in his past, but when he's been on the mound, he's performed. It's a plus fastball that gets above average vert from a lower than average release height. He's got a good slider. And I think he also shows promise in a changeup. So I think with Dom, I mean, he's an interesting arm. I think one that's going to it'll be nice to have another arm in Peoria. A lot of the Cardinals pitching talent is in the upper levels. To have someone at that A advanced level now, and Ellisalt, another guy, he's being viewed as more of a lottery ticket in this trade, but I think he's right up there with the Nate Dom. I might honestly have him ranked higher on my updated list. The stuff is just really intriguing. We're talking about 95 mile an hour fastball up to 98, really low launch, low arm slot. And it's a high efficiency pitch. So gets a solid amount of vert from his slot and, works well at the top of the zone. Could do a better job at just maximizing the command of that pitch in the top third. But if he's able to do so, we're talking about a VAA darling with an Ellisalt. I think the secondaries are very impressive too, just in terms of the shape. Could there be some improvement in terms of command of those pitches? I think so, but just the shape in general of those pitches, the changeup, the sweeper, the gyro slider, the cutter, I think that there's a lot to dream on with an Ellisalt. And I think he immediately has one of the best fastballs in the organization. And he hasn't been fully stretched out. He's been used as a multi-inning reliever. He's gotten some starts, but I would imagine the Cardinals are developing him 100% as a starter. So it'll be interesting to watch how that goes. Yeah, I think he's a really fascinating arm, really high upside arm. And I think you could say that about all three of these players that the Cardinals got backed. Are they going to be instant top 10 prospects in the system, like even including a Jesus Baez that I know Baseball America had inside their top 100. I think I'm a little bit lower on him than, the industry consensus. I think that Baez is a little bit closer to Adam and Ellisalt, but I think, he's still the frontliner, I would say. But at the same time, like, you're able to get a bat like that, someone that has the power, but also makes a ton of contact as well, which is, really impressive. I think you could be looking at a guy 55 hit, 55 power potentially, a bit more of an aggressive approach, isn't going to walk a lot. But I mean, that's an intriguing bat, someone that is only 20 years old and posting above average offensive production at the high A level. So yeah, between him, Dome, a guy that, I loved, entering last year's draft. He was someone that I wanted the Cardinals to target with their 3rd round pick. And when they passed on him and instead opted for Brian Holiday, I was a little upset, but they're getting him now. So yeah, really excited about that. And Ellisalt, really impressive, just pitch data. It is a little bit more raw. We'll see as far as if he's able to handle that starter's workload. But I think that all 3 of these players, I mean, the Cardinals got some high upside talent. So that's fun.
Yeah, I want to thank the presenting spots to the podcast real quick. And I know we probably got some follow-ups for you on your analysis on that. I know the chat's really loving it because I feel like right when the trade went down, everyone's like, what does Kareem think? So everyone's been waiting. It's like the State of the Union address. So, but yeah, we always want to thank the 314 Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're located at 9640 All Boulevard and all of that. Open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturdays and Sundays. Andrew, stop showing that card every time. You're not, she's a different one. You want to make people go shop there. There we go. Mason Wynn.
No, go back to the other card. The other card's my favorite one.
You can buy, sell, and trade all sports cards and Pokemon cards. They have new selections of packs, boxes, and single cards of local players and stars from around the league. Make sure you go check them out. They're awesome over at 314. We also want to tell you about one of our other sponsors, and that is Underdog Sports. The Deal on the Cards podcast is proud to be partnered with Underdog Sports, our favorite place to play fantasy games. You're now eligible to play in Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and 37 other U.S. states. You got to check out Pick'em. It's so easy to play. You just pick 2 to 8 stats of your favorite players and choose whether they'll go higher or lower. You can win 20 times your money by going 5 for 5. If that sounds like fun, sign up with our promo code CARDS to claim your first free pick plus first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We can't wait to see your entries. So, Kareem, there's a lot to follow up with there, but the first thing I kind of want to go with is your initial reaction, which is you basically said like you liked the return, you thought they would get less for Helley. I think there's been a larger audience on social media that's been underwhelmed by the return and thought you would get more for Helley. It's like, this is what the Cardinals are after here. Like there's some comments of like, why do they need another shortstop or why aren't they MLB ready? All this stuff. And that I understand, like we can quickly, like you can give a quick response to those type of things. But in general, even some of the more like well-informed, leaned in fans are like, they're seeing the Duran stuff. They see Mason Miller today. They see what Tyler Rogers got. Like they see some of these deals and like, that's what Helley gets here. And even in the industry, there's been like Keith Law didn't love it. Some grades come out or obviously he hated it. There's some grades that came out that give the Cardinals like a B, C+, all that kind of stuff. Like but personally, when I saw the deal, I was like, I feel like this is fair value or maybe even a little bit more than I thought they would get. Why did you feel that when you saw it, even aside from the fact that you did the analysis of the prospects, why do you think a guy like Helley, this is what he gets rather than more what some people thought?
Well, he's a rental reliever. I think we need to start there.
Yeah.
Duran has multiple years of control. Mason Miller, bunch of control left. I mean, you can't expect that sort of return for a player that's a free agent at the end of the year. Is Helley one of the top relievers in the game, the past few years? I think so. But at the same time, I don't think teams are going to be willing to give up their top, 3 prospects in the organization for a rental reliever that, might not be with them longer than, this stretch run. So yeah, I don't think it's fair to compare this trade to players that have a little bit more control, that teams are buying for more than just one, playoff run. Like I thought it was a solid return. They got 3 prospects that are all going to slot in to my top 20. I mean, they might not have gotten like a crazy headliner. I like Jesus Baez, but I think, to get 3 players that I think are all solid prospects that have some upside with him, I thought that was a good return.
When you look at, I guess you compare, the only other time we really have to compare a John Mozeliak sell-off is 2023. And at least in the reporting since then, it's been come out quite a bit that they were like the Jordan Montgomery trade was one thing. They wanted the best possible return. But when they look at Jordan Hicks or what they did with DeYoung or what they did with Jack Flaherty, all the kind of stuff, they were targeting upper levels of the minor leagues pitching depth. These deals, clearly it's been reported that what they would hope would be guys not in the 40-man. We can dissect whether that matters or not, but clearly they're looking more at the upside side of things, the future oriented. Do you like what we've seen so far from the approach from the Cardinals in terms of, I guess we really just had the Helley deal, Matt's deal, the grade off so far, but it seems like they're not pigeonholed into we need to build up AAA depth right now and guys who are near MLB ready but lack the upside, but they're actually making more of an upside play. Do you see that? Do you agree with that? And do you like kind of what we've seen so far targeting wise, even though it's just 2 of the deals?
Yeah, I think with the Helley trade in particular, to get 3 names that are going to be at the high A level, these aren't guys that are going to jump into the major leagues tomorrow, right? It's going to take a little bit more developing in all 3 of these guys. They all have they're I wouldn't say they're projects, but they all have some developing left to do to get to the level of them being major league caliber players. So yeah, I mean, I think maybe it's a little bit of a change of philosophy in that sense. I thought that the 2 pitchers that they got, more of the higher upside kind of arms that we've seen them, target, this past draft class, guys that have plus fastballs. So you like to see that. Is there a little bit more risk potentially? But at the same time, I like that they're buying upside, and, I trust the player development group to work with these guys and, get the most out of them.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're talking about what, 20, 25 innings out of Ryan Helley? Like, that's what you're giving up here. And you just kind of take what you get with these rental relievers. Like, the Mets are not going to give you somebody who is both nearly major league ready and also has a really high ceiling. Like, that's not what you get back for, I don't know, Helley. There's 50 games left in the season, and he's probably going to appear in like 25 of them, and that'd be aggressive. That'd be a lot of innings pitched for Helley down the stretch. And maybe he factors into a playoff run. Like, he definitely makes their team better. But at the same time, they're just not going to sell you the farm for 25 innings from a guy that, I mean, isn't even going to close for them. Like, Helley's not the closer in New York. It's not like the need was super great, Yeah, they want to stock up. The Phillies just added stuff. You've got the Padres with a great bullpen. The Dodgers have interesting options when they're healthy. So you got to keep pace with those other juggernauts. But at the same time, like, it makes total sense to me that this is what you're going to get back. I was talking with a friend probably like 2 hours before the Helley trade. And I mean, I predicted they would get back. I said, you're looking at probably 2 to 3 guys. Like, they're not going to get one big headliner. And it's probably going to be someone in another team's like 8 to 10, someone in the 15 to 20, 13 to 17 range, whatever. And then maybe a throw in. And like, that's about what they got. I totally would expect that return. I think it makes complete sense to me. And I'm happy with it, especially when you get guys who know a little bit more than me that start to dig into these profiles and say, hey, there's something interesting here. That's exactly what you want to see the Cardinals do. Instead of targeting guys that can maybe plug holes next year, they're throwing darts at traits that they really like. And I think that's a great thing. I think that's the right philosophy to build an organization in 2025. And it's nice to see the Cardinals turning towards that. It's definitely better than trading for Drew Rom. Like, we can agree on
that. So I think we're starting to get numbers out about the Carlos Correa stuff. So I'm going to keep an eye on that here. But there has been a couple moves. Jesus Sanchez to the Astros. And then now Ken Rosenthal is reporting the Astros are working hard to acquire Dylan Cease from the Padres. There's no indication at this point that a deal is close at all, but they're continuing to push. And then it sounds like the Twins must have moved off quite a bit of money in the Carlos Correa deal, according to Bob Nightingale, but we'll have to see what happens there. let's talk about the Blaze Jordan side of things too, because I know Kareem, you weren't as excited about that one. And again, it was Steven Matz, right? He makes $12.5 million, which is more starter money. So you're talking about a rental reliever that's not one of the top ones and makes a little bit more money than other guys. So you're gonna have to compartmentalize the return in that sense, but it still doesn't necessarily make anyways. I'm curious what your thoughts were on Blaze Jordan as a prospect, who he could be if you thought that was the kind of return they could get for a Steven Matz type. Just what were your general thoughts on that?
Yeah, my initial thoughts, I was a little bit disappointed. I thought that the Cardinals could get a little bit more value for Steven Matz, but I think that looking back at this, this was probably an appropriate value. I think I was just, for some reason, I thought Steven Matz would have a little bit more value, but with Blaze Jordan, you're getting someone, I know, Chaim Bloom must have his, imprint on. He was drafted in 2020 when Bloom was still with the Red Sox, and the Cardinals have, previously tried to trade for him, last offseason. And, this is a guy, he hit 500-foot home runs as a teenager. I think that's the first thing that, people talk about. Really popular name in that sense. And a lot of Cardinals fans already heard of his name, before they traded for him. So I think that's that's cool. Getting someone that has some, name recognition, but yeah, the raw power is there. He doesn't the batted ball profile isn't fully maximized to the point where I think he projects to hit for a ton of power at the major league level. But at the same time, this is a guy that makes a ton of contact. He adjusts well on 2 strike counts. This isn't going to be someone that strikes out a whole lot. I think it's a 10.6% strikeout rate on the season. So, I mean, from a bat to ball sense, a guy that, is going to put the ball in play and avoid strikeouts, I think that's a plus. He's limited athletically, he's split time between third base and first base. Don't know if he has the lateral agility to stick at third base long term. I think he's more of a first baseman. So, yeah, I think he's limited in that sense. Not going to be someone that's going to provide a ton of positional value and, defensive value. But maybe the Cardinals can throw him in a corner outfield and we'll see what that looks like. But, plus bat to ball guy, has some sneaky raw power in there that I'm sure the Cardinals think they can maximize a little bit more. And he's a lefty masher for an organization that could use those guys, right? This is someone that's always hit left-handed pitching. So yeah, could be a fun, bench piece, someone that is in a platoon at first base with maybe a couple years down the road, Alec Burleson's your first baseman and you have Blaze Jordan platooning with him or something. But oh, wow.
Yeah. So that definitely, the Padres search for a corner outfielder has ended with.
Yeah. Lars Nootbaar will be staying put.
Which we thought already, but let's have that. Well, there's a lot of potential conversations we could have right now. I think the JoJo one's the craziest one, so maybe we just start there, and then we can talk about why maybe Nootbaar and Gorm and Donovan, guys like that, are not being dealt, because I feel way less frustrated by that one. But anyone want to give some thoughts on the fact that the Cardinals are likely to only move Phil Maton between now and the next hour and a half, and not a JoJo Romero, because that seems ludicrous to me.
No, I think it's a mistake. Yeah, it's a huge mistake. They've already they haven't publicly committed, but they've done a lot of things to signal that they don't want to contend next year. And I mean, at this point, anyone should be shocked if the Cardinals actually invest in the team financially this offseason. They're not going to do it. And if they're not going to invest in the team, and they have the holes that we've discussed for the last, 6 weeks while the wheels have been falling off. I mean, the team went from 9 games over 500 to barely over 500 now. You're out of the playoff race. You're selling at the deadline. I don't understand why you don't move Romero. He's never going to have more value than this. He's on an absolute heater. It just makes no sense.
The Padres also got Ramon Laureano in that deal. So they were like,
the Padres are funny, man. The Padres, I don't know.
Padres are a lot of fun. That's what it is.
I hope they win one soon, because if they don't, this team is.
Yeah, but we've said that before with the Padres.
They're they've traded 43-year-old Yu Darvish $20 million, and it's why do you want?
Yeah. And they traded the
Xander Bogaerts.
They've gotten out from under bad contracts. They figure it out.
Yeah. Well, no,
Have you guys
there's
talked
still
about
paying
the
Garrett
Mason
Cole.
Miller contract or Mason Miller trade yet?
No, not
It's
at all.
wild. LDV is crazy.
Let's
but you know what?
stay on the JoJo thing and then let's
Makes
pivot to
sense.
some of the league stuff because we might have a while till a trade happens. But I mean, honestly, like I just said it, but like it is a huge mistake, and I understand that we don't know what offers are coming through, so we can't sit there and be like, oh, like they could clearly get this. It's like, well, we think they can, but like other teams might look at JoJo Romero and be like, hey, cool, 2 months here. We know that's not who you are. Even so, I think we can all probably agree it's like the Eric Fetty thing, but I would say it's less. I feel less. I could understand why teams in offseason weren't necessarily going to trade for him potentially. You're at this deadline, and there is clearly an arms race for bullpen arms. And so, if you look at every reporter, every model, every prospect outlet is saying, yeah, these relievers are going for way more than we thought they would. So even if you don't get way more than you thought you would, but like you get like adequate or like what you think JoJo Romero could have gotten going into the last few days, I'm taking that over, hey, let's hold on to him and see what happens, because he has the extra year of control, which is just inherently more valuable than what he will have next year, because these teams are acquiring him for the stretch run. Like that is the main thing. And it's an added bonus that they get another year on top of it. When you get to the offseason, they can go, oh, well, we could sign this reliever over here for $2 million, so we don't care as much. Right now, you can't really do that because your supply is guys that haven't thrown a single pitch this year. You have so much more leverage right now. It does not make sense to me. I don't see a world where JoJo Romero is so good next year that it's worth keeping him, or that you flip him for more at the deadline. It doesn't make sense to me. And I understand we don't know what the offers are, but we have been told by Katie Wu at least multiple times that teams have called on JoJo Romero. She mentioned the Padres specifically as a team that called. Obviously, I don't think they're doing that anymore because they've moved so many things already. But I just have a hard time looking at all these other relievers being moved and looking at the state of the National League, where you've got the Phillies have Harper and Schwarber and Stott. The Cubs have Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker, and Michael Busch. The Dodgers have Ohtani and Freeman and Muncy if he's healthy, and other left-handed bats. The Mets have Soto and Nimmo and McNeil. Left-handed bats are the name of the game in the National League playoffs. And JoJo Romero, it has like a 150, 250, 250 slash line off him against lefties, has given up one earned run to 68 batters that are left-handed this year. That is a guy that teams are going to want in their bullpen in October. And apparently the Cardinals aren't all that interested. Like, blow us away, which I'm struggling to understand how people are not blowing you away right now, because we're seeing other deals that are being blown away. So I'm so frustrated. There's been some people on Twitter being like, well, like you can't just trade for anything. I'm like, well, you kind of could. Like, I wouldn't be all that mad if they gave him away. It was like, oh, other players got more. Why didn't Romero get more? Like, you can go sign a guy for $2 million in the offseason and hope he becomes what JoJo Romero was for you going to be next year. I don't get it. Sorry, I had to rant for a second, but
no,
I don't know if
listen to this JoJo stat. Listen to this stat. So JoJo has a TOPS plus, which it's a weird stat on Baseball Reference, but it basically means it's how batters fared against you relative to that split the rest of the time against lefties. So he is like batters are 67% as effective against him as they are against other lefties. That's unbelievable. He's been incredible this year. Like, our lefties already dominate other lefties, but he's doing so at a rate that is 33% above league average in that department. He's been incredible against lefties. 503 OPS. They've got a 41 OPS plus against him on the season. Like, he basically turns all left-handed hitters into like Pedro Pajes. He's been amazing. It's unbelievable. And he's been on such a hot run. Like, JoJo Romero has been the best reliever in the National League, or one of the best relievers in the National League for the last 2 months. I don't know how you're not trying to acquire that guy, load up your playoff roster, and especially in a National League where, like you said, Josh, there are all these left-handed sluggers. Oh, and by the way, JoJo Romero keeps the ball in the ballpark too. He's given up one home run all year. Are you kidding me? Like, do you not want that guy on your team? And if you're the Cardinals, do you not realize, like, JoJo Romero could be really good next year, and he won't be nearly this valuable because A, there's no control, and B, like, he's not going to be this good. He could be really, really good and not be this good. Okay. Like, his savant card is awesome right now. He's generating so many ground balls. He's not walking people. Like, this is the very best version of what he can be. And it's a shutdown dominant lefty out of your pen that you really can move around. He can face the toughest part of any lineup. He's getting righties out well too. Like righties are still have like a 640 OPS against the guy. It doesn't matter who he's pitching against. He's been dominant. I can't believe they're not going to trade him. I think it's, like you said, it's a colossal mistake, especially if you're not going to invest in the team and you're not going to compete next year. Who cares if you have this piece at the back of your bullpen? It does not matter. It is such a mistake.
Kareem, any thoughts?
Yeah, just keep churning the bullpen. Just keep signing guys on the low, and finding guys like Riley O'Brien. I don't think people expected him to emerge as the kind of reliever that he's been so far this year. And Matt Swanson, I mean, they got him for Paul DeYoung. Like, yeah, you can find
JoJo they got from Mundo
Sosa.
Exactly. I mean, you could find relievers that are interesting, and I think the Cardinals are in a spot right now where they can do that. They have the luxury of seeing what these guys are capable of. So yeah, I think that JoJo is not going to have higher value than what he has right now. He could have a sub-2 ERA next year, and I still think that the pitcher that he is right now, that you're getting more than just 1 year of control of. I think that there is more value to be had there. Obviously, we're not in the room. We don't know what offers are we don't know what other teams are offering for a JoJo Romero. But at the same time, like, it's hard to envision them not getting enough back in return. I think that they could definitely move him, but the Cardinals don't have another lefty option in the bullpen right now. I mean, John King's on the IL. I mean, Odinir Mosqueda gonna be the next guy up? Like, I feel like the Cardinals are still. I know they traded Helley. I know they traded Matz, but I still think they want to compete, and I think JoJo gives them a better shot to compete.
Are they not watching the games though? Like, did you watch the game last night? Okay, it doesn't even matter because right now your offense is anemic. Like, yeah, they went off for 7 runs in game 1 of the series. Well, they just got shut out in back-to-back nights by the Marlins. A few weeks ago, they got shut out for an entire series by the Pirates. I mean, this was at home. Like, one thing the Cardinals did early in the season was protect Busch Stadium. They just got, they just got trashed on by the Marlins in back-to-back games at home. Are you watching the rotation? I mean, it's on fumes. You got rid of Eric Fetty. That's great. Right now you have a Sonny Gray problem. Like, you have guys blowing up every other start. Miles Mikolas is still in your rotation. Andre Palante is still in your rotation. And Andre Palante sometimes gives you what he gave you in game 1. He also sometimes gives you what he's given you over the last month, which is not good. Like, I still trust 0 of these starters right now. I mean, if the Cardinals are watching the games, which they have to be, right? They're there and they think they can still win. That's crazy talk to me. I'm one of the most positive people in the entire fan base. Okay. I delude myself into believing the Cardinals can make the playoffs every year. And I have as much fun as I can doing it because otherwise I'm going to turn into a really jaded, skeptical person. But I don't think they can contend right now. It just looks so bad. I mean, it's just terrible. Nobody's doing anything to convince me that they can win. So trade, get some value, move on.
And it's also,
if you're going to sell.
This bullpen's not going to be awful without JoJo Romero filming, right?
Like,
will it be worse? Yes, we cannot be like, oh, it'll be fine. Like, you just lost your 9th, 8th, and 7th minute any man, like, and your Swiss Army knife, like that. Any team who loses all of that in one day is going to suffer greatly. But we need information. We need to see these young arms get opportunities in high level spots. Like JoJo Romero, speaking of, in 2023, when they traded away Jordan Hicks and Ryan Helsley's on the mend. Guess who closed a lot of those games? JoJo Romero, and did pretty well. And then down the stretch, they're like, this JoJo Romero guy might be a high leverage arm for us next few years. Guess what? 2024 nails in the first half, fell off in the second half. This year started the year a little rough. Was pretty darn good this summer, obviously. Like, get these guys the opportunities. It's mind-boggling to me that, and I understand sometimes maybe people can make a good point. It's like, if everyone on if a YouTube comment section, Twitter, and a podcast can all say it, then other front offices understand that too. And it's like, why would they give you real value? But there's a difference here. Like, I highlighted this comment from Graham for a reason. I'm flipping penny stocks. Is that at this time of year, if you're the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, you're going for a World Series right now. So you can't just throw things at a wall and go after 5 penny stocks and hope one hits. You got to go after the relievers that you know are going to do something for you. The Cardinals are in the exact opposite boat where it's like, yeah, go and find 10 of those random pennies on the ground and hope one of them ends up being $1 for you. And if the 9 other don't work out, who cares? You just picked it off of the side of the street. You didn't need it or you didn't like have to have it anyways right now. That's why you maximize on the reliever market right now. It is just ludicrous to me. It's not happening. I do not understand the argument for not doing it. I get they won't have a left-handed arm back there, but boo-hoo. Like, figure it out, Ollie. Sorry, man. You're going to figure it out. So we'll see what happens here, but I'm just going to be so frustrated if the deadline passes and JoJo Romero is a Cardinal, because they're just like, hey, you need a lefty back there.
Yeah, get ready to be frustrated, because at this point, I can't see them moving him. It's crazy, because if there's one thing that you can trust the Cardinals to do right now, it is put together a bullpen. Look at the way they got these guys. Riley O'Brien was acquired in a trade nobody talked about for cash considerations from Seattle. They went out there and they got JoJo Romero at the deadline in 2022 for Edmundo Sosa, who was a utility infielder that had 25 really good games with Philadelphia and has been a below league average bat since then. They landed Matt Savanson as Paul DeYoung, 44 at bats in Toronto, where he had an OPS of 136. I mean, like, they've gotten these guys in the best way possible. Phil Maton was a signing, $2 million, super low risk. And then they've developed some other talent too. You go out there, I trust them to throw darts. And there are other darts they've thrown that haven't landed. Ryan Fernandez was awesome last year. He was terrible this year. We'll see what he's got next year. Roycroft has been up and down. You don't know what he's going to be. Like, do you remember Nick Robertson? Roddery Munoz? Like, not everyone hits, but I trust the Cardinals to go out and find guys and put together a really solid unit that rounds into form. I don't know why they can't move JoJo. Like, why are you holding on to this guy?
Yeah.
You've shown that better than most teams in baseball right now, you can go out there and identify interesting traits and put guys to work in the back of your pen.
Okay. So there's a comment here, and I remember I texted this to you guys, and I hope this is true. Maybe there's a chance the report's out there to gain leverage. Maybe, because it's like, hey, you know what? We're not trading him. We feel good. And then the Dodgers are like, all right, we'll give you this. And then they're like, oh, sure, why not? Here's the problem. We've seen way too many times the Cardinals reported, it's reported, this is what they're thinking. And we're like, they can't be thinking that, right? And then that's what they were thinking. So I really hope it's different at this deadline. But right now, hard to believe it's going to be. Jackie brought this up, and I'm curious if you guys feel different. I would not give JoJo an extension, though. I just, unless you're a guy like Ryan Helley with traits, highlight, and even then, I'm really nervous about giving a reliever long-term money, because in a flip of a switch, these guys can just implode and not be the same guys anymore. It's the weirdest market in all of baseball, where you get to this time of year and they're so stinking valuable, but in reality, they kind of aren't that valuable most of the time. And so it's like, strike while the iron's hot while you can as a seller. Otherwise, I'm not giving JoJo an extension. Would you guys do that, or are you kind of like, you flip them and that's the only move here?
I don't like. I was pretty vocal about it yesterday. I don't want to give Helley. I don't want to bring Helley back unless it's for like really, really cheap. I don't think it's really that smart to go out unless you like. I don't like signing relievers for more than $8 to $10 million. I feel like that's just too risky. It just doesn't go well for the Cardinals. And maybe with Heimblum, like that'll change my mind. He'll make some signings that are really good. But I feel like if that many money is better spent elsewhere, you could extend Brendan Donovan. You could extend other guys. I feel like JoJo is pretty low on the list of guys I would give an extension to. I don't see. I think you need to capitalize on this value today. I don't think they're going to do it, and I think we're going to be talking about this just like we were talking about Eric Fedde. Do I think JoJo's going to be as bad as Eric Fedde is next year? Probably not, but like we could definitely come back to it, and I think we probably should come back to they should have traded Helley in the offseason as well, right? Like, because I think you could have gotten more for him. You had more control. He was coming off a year. He was reliever of the year. He was the best reliever in all of baseball, besides Emmanuel Clase, who's not going to be playing baseball anytime soon, or probably ever again, in Major League Baseball at least. Tough for him. But hey, anyway, gambling is rough. It's a rough thing to be caught doing in baseball. But anyway, like, if not for Eric Fetty being absolutely horrible, I think we would be having a lot more discussion about Ryan Helley not being traded and how big a mistake that was. Because like obviously Fetty was the biggest mistake. You should have traded him, whatever. But like, can the Cardinals for once capitalize on the value of an asset? Like, have they ever traded an asset at peak value with more than like 3 months of control? Like, when was the last time they did that? Like, they traded Tyler O'Neill with a full year of control, but he had no value. When was the last time they moved on from an asset? Like Harrison Bader, maybe? I don't know. Does that even count?
Wasn't
Because he
Bader
was hurt. Tommy Edman?
he had one more year.
Tommy Edman had no value.
There you go.
He was hurt.
I mean, you could maybe say like when they flipped Alan Craig and Joe Kelly in like 2013 for John Lackey.
So
like that's not really
years ago.
I'm trying to think of the latest example I can think of.
I know.
They used guys to control that were productive players and sold high. Like, but even then, I don't think
Craig was on the downturn at that time.
Yeah, well, he was never the same after that injury.
That's fair. But still at the time, it's like, oh, I don't care. I mean, you're still selling low. But I think it's more I'm looking at John Lackey put up a 6 WAR season the next year. So it was like that would end up being pretty awesome. But
even like someone like Tommy Pham, I think you're selling low.
Yeah.
Genesis Cabrera, Justin Williams. Like he had a season where he had 150 WRC plus for the Cardinals. And like,
oh, yeah. Pham was
he wasn't rated at peak
top 10
value.
MVP
Close to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pham was awesome for 1 year.
I'm curious what you guys think about this thing because I think we can all agree JoJo's peak value. But you get into this weird thing where the Cardinal, like, and throw myself in the boat. So I'm going to say Cardinal fans or media, whatever. It's like all of us get times looking at players like they're performing well, so you cannot trade them. But then it's like this guy's not playing well, so you should trade that guy. And then that guy ends up fading out, leaving Dylan Carlson, whoever it is. And then it's like, well, now Jordan Walker's that guy. And then he moves into that camp. And it's like no one ever, you very rarely, unless it's the person who's like burn it all to the ground, to see a person be like, you should trade Brendan Donovan right now. Or Mason, lately you've seen that. But like at peak value because of future stuff. Is there anyone on the roster right now besides JoJo Romero that you do think is at that quote unquote peak value that the Cardinals should be looking to? It doesn't mean they have a guy like that right now, but is Alec Burleson that guy? Is Brendan Donovan that guy?
That's what you do. That's
why
they're.
I think we all agree on that, but I think the bigger disagreements comes when you talk about Burleson or Donovan, or I think we can all agree Newbar's not peak value right now. But like you're just some people out there like. I would love for them to keep Brendan Donovan. I just would. But I also understand the argument that it might be peak value right now. And Alec Burleson, like, is there more to this or is this what he is and you capitalize on it now? Is there any of those guys right now that you think it's not everyone's going to agree on this, but like Kareem, you would trade this guy right now, assuming the right offers there because they're probably at peak value.
You know who I think is at peak value right now?
Mason Wynn.
Ivan Herrera.
Miles Mikolas. His velo's up 3 miles an hour.
I thought it was going to be a hot take, and then it was...
Nah, his velo's up 3 miles an hour. I think he could fit nicely on a back end of a rotation for a playoff team.
All right, so Kareem's pick is Miles Mikolas. Wasn't necessarily what I thought we were going to get here, but any of the young guys, though, that you're like that do fit that category? Because like for Newbar Gorman, I understand that there's probably a world where the offers are not that great right now, and you're hoping that the second half finishes out pretty well, and you do that in the off season. But like Donovan, I could see an argument for right now, even though I love him and I would not do it. But I see an argument. Alec Burleson,
I think there's
an argument.
There's a great argument for Alec Burleson. Like that's who came to mind immediately when you brought this up. And if you look at the Savant card, like the peripherals are pretty good this year. He's got an 810 OPS, and I think there's plenty of reason for teams to look at that and say like, hey, this guy right now fits in the middle of my lineup, or at least like as a great supplemental piece. It makes a lot of sense. I don't think the Cardinals will do it. And I don't know if they should, again, if you want to be good next year, you got to have Burleson in your lineup probably.
Do you?
Also, we just like 2 years ago, we were like, oh, they should ship Alec Burleson. They have roster redundancy. And I mean, there was a point in time where we were like, is Burleson ever going to find a home? He can't play defense, but this year he's been good enough that you can actually play him in the corners. That would make a lot of sense. But also at the same time, like, I don't know if I want them to trade Alec Burleson because you're right. He's performing well and it's fun to watch guys that are performing well. Yeah. I mean, Ivan Herrera has so much control but I don't think he's at peak value. Actually, I think Ivan Herrera has room to improve further. Pozo's definitely at peak value.
Yeah, Pozo could be in that camp. I mean, there is a lot of Ivan Herrera in this chat. Kareem or Andrew, either of you guys feel like he's a guy that you could potentially get like the right offer for right now to move on from, or is that a guy that you're not looking to move?
I'm not moving on from him.
Donovan? No.
No, Ivan Herrera.
Oh, Herrera? No.
I'm not
I feel like Herrera, like, one, he could figure it out as a catcher. If he does that, he has way more value. Two, like, even if he figures out in the outfield, like, if he finds a position, he just has more value. I feel like that's where it is. Like, you need to figure that out before you move on from him. I don't know. I think they should start moving guys like Jose for me. Like, I don't care if you get cash considerations for him. Just get him off the roster. Like, there's going to be so much 40-man churn this offseason. Like, Luke and Baker, if you could get a lottery ticket for Luke and Baker, you do it, right? Like, Luke and Baker is not going to be here. Like, it's just not going to happen. And hey, Jose Firmino, is he still one dotting it? Like, I think he is.
One dotting it. I love that.
You guys see Alex? Oh, you go.
I don't think the Cardinals.
Have you never heard anyone say that before?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I don't think the Cardinals should move on from him, but Mason Wynn's probably at peak value too.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, if Mason Wynn takes another step forward offensively in the future, but if it's not in there, then yeah, this is as good as it gets.
We were just talking about this yesterday when we were talking about the Helley trade, but me and Sandy. But like, you look at Mason Wynn and you look at like specifically B-War, and you look at the types of players that in their first 2 years around his age, shortstops wise, since 2000, the names he's in, it's the Francisco Lindors, the Troy Tulowitzkis, it's Hanley, it's the top of the top, the cream of the crop beyond shortstops. But the problem is those guys were gritting value out of their bats big time, and they're playing good enough or good defense at shortstop, or great defense when you're like Lindor. Mason Wynn's getting most of that from his defensive value. And again, that matters. But when you're like that much of a glove first guy who's more of a league average bat, like I do think there's a world here where we're talking about, do you move on from him because he's there might be more in the bat, but like how much more? And if you can get another team to dream on the fact of how valuable he is right now, do you make that move? Because I think he's more of a, I said this to Sandy yesterday. I don't know if you guys would all agree with it, but if Mason Wynn, when you're trying to win a World Series or compete at the top of the National League, if he's hitting at the top of your lineup, I don't think that's a good thing. I think probably long term, he's probably more bottom of your lineup playing great defense. And that's a good player, but it's not a player that you have to hold on to with a tight grip at all costs, in my opinion. But Ivan Herrera is not in that category to me, because I think, to your point, Andrew, like if Ivan Herrera the other day told Jim Hayes that he still wants to be a catcher. And so, like, at least from Ivan's camp, he hasn't given that up yet. And then again, I think he'll probably move to the outfield DH type. But if he finds a home in left field and plays serviceable defense out there, it's like we saw how freaking valuable Matt Holliday is when he's putting up 120, 130, 135, 140 WRC plus seasons in left field. Again, I think there's more in the tank there. Mason Wynn, I could see a world where it's like we always think there's more, and then he hits second year of arbitration. We're like, oh, there wasn't more. Like, there may a little bit more, but not as much that you can dream on. So I think Wynn's that guy to me that I'm like, not that they're going to do it, but like maybe you should.
I still think there's a little bit more to dream on offensively, but past 2 years, I mean, his numbers have been pretty similar. His offensive output, funny enough, 103 WRC plus in 2025 and 2024. Slash lines are similar, walk rates, strikeout rates, but I do think there's a little bit more in the bat. But even if there isn't, I still think this is someone that's just super valuable in his cost control years. Maybe when he gets closer to arbitration and we haven't seen him take that next step offensively, that's when you could consider him a trade, but not right now. I'm still holding out for a little bit more hope offensively, and to pair with the defense that he's providing. I mean, he might win the Gold Glove. I think he's definitely one of the best defensive shortstops in the league. I think he leads the league in outs above average.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying like trade Mason Wynn for whatever. It's if a team wants to come out and pay for him as their shortstop of the future with 4 to 5 years of club control remaining, and also is betting on the fact that his bat has at least a little bit more in it, if not a decent amount more in it, and thinks he can get to 110, 115, 120, that's when you make the move. I'm not saying, oh, there's another team who also potentially sees him as just league average with 18 outs above average as shortstop, which is incredible. Like, you don't have to do it, but like, he is a guy that makes sense to me. As like, I could see the Cardinals when they get a call from Mason Wynn being like, no, thank you, and hanging up, or being super unrealistic with it. But if a team likes the idea of Mason Wynn as their shortstop of the future, I think he's a guy you should listen on for sure. But
it's just, if you think about the other guys around Mason Wynn in terms of defensive value, like second place on the outs above average leaderboard is Nick Allen, right? For the Braves this year.
Yeah.
0 home runs on the season. He's in the first percentile in terms of batting run value, -18. So he's actually outweighed all of the fielding value that he's put out there. I mean, he's a terrible hitter, but he's the second best defender in the league at shortstop, according to StatCast. The best is Mason Wynn. He is league average 2. Okay. He's got 2 batting runs on the season so far, 45th percentile in terms of total offensive production. And he's also the best defender in the league, according to StatCast. Like that's a huge gap between him and the other glove savants around him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a super valuable player. And if he continues to do that, it's insane. And I'm with Kareem too. I do think there's more in the power department for sure. I think he could add just a little bit. I mean, if you watched Wynn develop through the minor leagues, like he'd get comfortable at a level, he would get to a new level, he would struggle a little bit, he'd get comfortable, and then he would turn it on. And I don't think he's going to turn it on at the big league level the way he did, at AAA late in his minor league career or whatever. But I do think there's more than this. I think he could easily be a 110 to 112 guy, especially as he matures, just gets more used to facing big league pitching. Like he's so young still. So yeah, I would be, you'd have to blow me away to get Mason Wynn right now. I mean, he just is that valuable.
Wynn might not be the guy that's going to post like crazy exit velocity numbers, but I think he does a good job at just pulling the ball in the air. And I think, this year he's taken a step forward in that regard. Last year, 17%, this year, 21.6%, which is above average. So, I mean, there is pop in the bat. And I think that we could see more in the tank, the next few years with that. So yeah, I mean, I think Wynn could be more than 100 WRC plus kind of player. I think, 110, 115. And at that point, when you also pair that with the fact that he's the best defensive shortstop in the league, that's an uber valuable player for your team.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, he gets to his value in a way that's not quite as flashy as like a Francisco Lindor. And I'm not saying Wynn's Lindor, but I mean, he can put up similar WAR numbers to Lindor in some seasons.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have that MVP ceiling where it's like, oh yeah, if he really gets it together with the glove, the numbers at the plate are going to be there and he's going to potentially win an MVP. Like Wynn probably doesn't have that ceiling,
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's got that floor. So
I feel like the chat, like some people are like thinking I hate Mason Wynn right now. I do not. I'm just saying he's a guy that I think he should be open to moving and see what kind of offers are out there, because if he does those things, he adds a little bit more power. He's a 110, 115 WRC plus guy. Oh yeah. You're going to get a haul for that guy at that point, because you're talking about 6, potentially 7 win player at times with how good the defense is. That's a completely different argument. But like when he's a 4.5 to 5 win player and most of that's coming from the defense, that's where I'm like, okay, if there's a team who already will give you what it takes, believing he's going to be that 6 to 7 guy, do you take the burden that, or do you take the potential value coming back rather than betting on it yourself? Because it's that argument again, where it's like, Sandy, we were talking about in the chat the other day, after 2021, people probably would look at Tyler O'Neill, but like, there's no way you could trade a guy who just finished top 10 in MVP voting. He finally put it all together. He's healthy, plays Gold Glove defense in left field. And then that was it. That was the peak. And so like, there is also potential. This is peak Mason Wynn. Or that I think he's be better than this, but like this is like 85, 90, 95% Mason Wynn rather than there's 20% more, 25% more in the tank. I think that's where you potentially could make a move here. Oh, also we just we're losing Sandy for about 5 minutes, so he'll be back in. But so that's just the point of he's a guy that I think the Cardinals probably are not listening to offers on, but I think they should open their minds to if they're not already. So I know we wanted to talk potentially about we haven't really touched it yet. And there's other deals happening, so we'll cover things as they go through. But also, I didn't say Donovan's off limits. Like again, same type of thing. Like if you're blown away by an offer, and you probably have to give me you have to give me more to get Mason Wynn than to get Brendan Donovan right now. But the Mason Miller thing, like Kareem, like top 5 prospect in all of baseball, just flew off the board here for 4 years of control of an elite closer that could be a starter next year for them. They also got JP Sears out of it. And Andrew, like, I mean, I know you saw the deal too. Like, what were your guys' instant thoughts when you're like, man, like we went multiple deadlines without a top 100 guy going, and now multiple top 100 prospects have gone and a top 5 prospect.
Yeah, I think the price was too steep. I don't understand why the Padres made this move. Mason Miller, like you said, I mean, could he get stretched out next year? Possibly, but he also has an extensive injury history. This isn't someone that has ever shown an ability to start consistently. And, is he an overpowering pen arm, someone that is one of the top, relievers in the game? Yes. Does he have a ton of team control left? Again, yes. But if you're buying a reliever here for one of the top prospects in the game, that's just not worth it. So it'll be interesting to follow, whether he's stretched out next year, what that looks like, and if he's able to handle that workload. And if he does end up becoming one of the top starters in the game, he doesn't even have to be, top 10, top 20, like just an effective mid-rotation starter. I think, at that point, I would understand it, but still, I still think it's too much you're giving up for a guy that there are question marks, like if this is solely buying him as a reliever, I think it makes less sense. But I'm not totally bought in on him being able to start at the next level. So I don't know. I did not like this package. I did not like this trade for the Padres. I think that Leo DeVries, one of the top prospects in the game. I think the Athletics, I think they stole him. I think it was a phenomenal trade for them.
Andrew, what were your thoughts when you saw an insane package for a reliever, which again, 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mason Miller is going to be a starter. I think that's always the upside that we thought he would have, but I don't know. Like, that's a crazy package to give out. The Padres do that. They've traded James Wood and they've traded CJ Abrams and all these other guys that, like, yeah, I'm not surprised that they did it, but like, I just don't know how long it's going to work. And I don't know. For Padres fans, I mean, hopefully they can get it together soon, because once again, I could see this falling apart pretty quickly with the amount of money they have allocated to guys that are only getting older and allocated to guys that are just not very good. Like Bogarts has just been in decline ever since he's got there. Yu Darvish is really old now. He's had some terrible starts recently, and Machado's still been good, but he's getting older. Tatis isn't what he was once he got popped for PEDs. So I don't know. Fun for them. I wish the Cardinals would make a move and surprise us today. Probably not that drastic. That would be rough. But Sandy's back. And then just like I think I wish the Cardinals would make exciting moves like that. But
like Donnie for Nick Kurtz straight up.
That would be great. I think that.
I guess I'm curious for you guys. Like, say Leo DeVries ends up being like a superstar, like legit guy. Does it matter? Like, if the Padres win the World Series this year or next year, does it not matter?
No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Flags fly forever. Like,
yeah.
Also, I saw this list recently of like all of the big prospects the Padres have like acquired or traded away that didn't do anything. And it's a long list. There's so many guys on it. And yeah, they gave up a bunch of guys that banged to the Nationals. And people can say, oh, what a heist for the Nationals. It's true. The Nationals rebuilt their entire franchise. But also, the Padres landed Juan Soto, a Hall of Famer in his prime, and had a chance to go win a World Series with him. And they failed in other ways. But at the same time, like, bang, they had Juan Soto on their team. If you have a chance to make that upgrade, and even if it's a smaller deal, like if you land that kind of guy and it bangs like that, that's what you have to do.
Yeah. Here's a pretty long list of some of the guys he's given up over the years. Trey Turner as a prospect, James Wood, Max Fried, Josh Naylor, Andres Munoz, Mackenzie Gore, David Bednar, CJ Abrams, Xavier Edwards, Zach Eflin, Hunter Renfroe, Leo DeVries, Braden Nett, Ryan Weathers, Robbie Snelling, River Ryan. There's probably more. That's a team.
The Cardinals blew it up for Juan Soto.
Oh gosh, he gave up Emmanuel Clase, Luis Castillo, and Matt Brash as well.
That one's not going to come back to bite him, unfortunately.
Well, kind of did, but
to his credit too, I wish we'd given up Walker and Wynn and Gorman and all those guys for Soto, but whatever.
Oh, and Kareem says no still. Go for it. Oh, you're muted, Kareem.
I mean, at the time, like,
yeah,
I don't think it made sense at all.
I don't know. I think you bet on
And
that.
Soto, he would be there for 1 year, or two. I mean, if you didn't end up trading him like the Padres did, there's just not enough value there. I don't think the Cardinals would have won the World Series in those 2 years. And at the time, Jordan Walker, one of the top prospects in the game, Dylan Carlson, we still had high hopes for him.
They both have ended up being not good.
Still, I mean, I
would rather. I'd rather they turn into superstars in Washington than what happened here. Like,
I don't know. I didn't think there was any shot of Soto being with the team longer than those 2 years of control that he had. And I didn't think the package would have been worth it. And I think we easily just throw around Gorman and Walker and Carlson, but I think the package would have been even bigger than we, thought at that point in time.
Yeah, throw Tim Kent's in there. Why not? He's not going to be a star anymore.
Well, I mean, one of the things that's been reported a lot is like people don't talk enough about the Cardinals didn't have the equivalent of Mackenzie Gore, and that really mattered to the Nationals. They wanted a top pitching prospect, and Matthew Liberatore was not that at the time, and Tim Kent's also was not that at the time, and isn't that. So like it probably was like Walker and Gorman and Carlson and Wynn and Liberatore and Tank and more, because you also had to outbid the Padres. It's not just the massive Padres; you had to outbid them.
I mean, it's easy in hindsight looking back and saying, "Oh, none of these guys worked out." But Soto was going to be there no more than 2 years, and I didn't think you could make an argument maybe, but I didn't think that team was competing for World Series in those 2 years.
So I guess the one thing maybe, let's think back though. You have MVP called Paul Goldschmidt. You have second half Albert Pujols. You have top 3 MVP Nolan Arenado, and you would have had Juan Soto in your lineup. Like that, I don't know what would have happened, but it is a huge what if to think if you had a 2, 3, 4, 5 of Soto, Arenado, Goldschmidt, and Pujols. And you had Brendan Donovan still, who was awesome his rookie year. And I'm guessing they still flip Bader from Montgomery and they go after Jose Quintana. Like, they would have been the ultimate all in. And it's like, in retrospect, knowing how 2023, 2024, 2025 have played out, I could see why you go all in.
Oh, yeah, I would have done it. Yeah.
But none of us knew that. And so it's like, if it's the opposite and the Cardinals get stomped by the Phillies in the first round still, or the second round, and I mean, maybe they trade Soto and they get something back, kind of like what the Padres did to help out. But like, what if it was Jordan Walker, Nolan Gorman, Matthew Liberatore, and these guys were doing what they were at the Nationals right now, and the Cardinals were as decimated? I mean, we think they're decimated now. They'd be even more decimated. I see why they didn't do it.
Could it have been better
for prospects? You trade Soto.
The Cardinals would have actually sold.
That's true. You could have done a full scale rebound.
Would they be rebounding already now? Because they would have sold hard and they would have gotten real value for O'Neill, Goldschmidt, Arenado. And also, like, the rising tide lifts all boats thing is real. If you had Juan Soto to that lineup, maybe Tyler O'Neill's better in 2022. Because I mean, I know he was hurt, but there was disappointment when he was playing. Like, that could have been crazy offense. It would have been unbelievable. But I don't know. I think maybe they would have sold at that point. They definitely would have been willing to trade like a Contreras early on in his contract. They wouldn't have signed the Gray deal, which we're looking at now as something that's hamstringing them moving forward. It's a really interesting thought.
I mean, I think a guy like that, like Pujols did for the 2022 Cardinals, what like Kyle Tucker is doing for the Cubs right now, right? Like you have a guy that just adds to your lineup that's just like a middle of the order bat for whatever he was in the second half, and you have all these other guys like Goldschmidt had a career year, won MVP. Arenado had a career year, finished third, and like all of these guys are just playing above what they could do, and I think that's just because you had an extra bat in that lineup, and if you had Juan Soto, that I don't know. I don't like to dwell on it. I also just wish that the Padres had traded for Ohtani, and then the Nationals have to take our package.
That is actually probably the bigger what if, is that because the Padres wanted Ohtani, and so if they had been able to pull that off, I wonder, did the Nationals pivot? And also they don't have the leverage of the Padres offer at that point too. So I don't know, but then maybe the Dodgers get more aggressive with Juan Soto too. So of what ifs there. But anyways, retrospective, hindsight's 2020, and even then, it's still kind of tough there's a lot of moving parts there. But I do think that point's fair too, where it's like if they fall apart in 2023 and they go into a deadline where they move the reigning MVP, Juan Soto and Nolan Arenado, like you could load that farm system up real quick.
It's the biggest sell in history at that point. So, like it's a Marlins level fire sale that if you actually manage right, you get something back.
But anyways, it's fun to talk about. But okay, we're a little under an hour, 50 minutes, right? Till the deadline. Phil Maton still has not been moved yet, so a little concerning, but
it's going to be like with Carlson last year. I told Sandy before you guys hopped in, when it was just like, we're going to be sitting here for 2 hours waiting for Phil Maton to get moved. And we're not going to get, it's going to be like, I don't know. It might be underwhelming. And then it's good turnout. A lot of people jumping in the chat.
It's been fun. If you guys have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat some more as well. I'm going to go grab my other computer real quick. So it'll take me like 30 seconds, but any thoughts on, Kareem or any of you guys, like, what do you think a potential package should be for Phil Maton? Are you talking in that Tyler Rogers range? Are you talking a little bit less? Talking about more? Like, what kind of thing or what kind of return do you think they can get for Maton? Assuming they strike at the right time, like they could have held out too long and missed out on some stuff.
Well, you got teams coming off the board now that don't need help, and I think that's problematic, but I think there are plenty of teams that are still looking for relief help, right? Like I would assume the Dodgers could use another arm. I would assume, have the Padres traded away Suarez yet? Oh yeah,
no,
they did.
Or
they kept him.
They haven't. They've kept both.
I was going to say, if they moved Suarez, I wouldn't be shocked if they went out and got another low cost arm like Maton. But I don't know if the Cardinals are going to do an in-division trade, but like the Cubs and Brewers could both use some relief help. I wouldn't be shocked to see the Reds be in the relief market. The Blue Jays probably still need another reliever. I mean, Hoffman's your closer. He's not been that good this year. Their bullpen does not stack up with some of these other ones. I know people like the Yankees have gotten some help, but if you want to keep pace with some of these other teams that have super bullpens right now, like Philadelphia and New York, you could use another arm. So I'm not sure. Feels like I've always thought the Mariners could use another arm at the back of their bullpen. I know Munoz is nails, but they could use some help too. There's plenty of teams that really should be looking for something here. So, I mean, it's going to come down to the wire, but yeah, if the Cardinals wait too long on Maton and it's just like, who's going to blink first, them or one of these teams. And if it's, 2 minutes before the deadline, the Cardinals are probably just going to sell him for what they can at this point. All right. There's no reason to hang on to him. Like there's no chance they do it. There's no qualifying offer. You can't justify it. Yeah.
My best guess for a possible return is a team's, 10 to 20 organization prospect and maybe a low level lottery ticket, not a top 30, 40 guy in the system, but someone that has a little bit of promise, something like that. I think could make sense as a return.
Yeah.
I was hoping for a little more from Maton just because of how versatile he's been for the Cardinals this year. Like instead of the Helley role where you're only pitching in the 9th inning, Maton has pretty much just been facing other teams' best hitters. Like that's all he's done. All he's done is come in the biggest spots. He's come in for massive jams. He's worked around all sorts of stuff. Like I think he's so valuable. I know he doesn't have the closing experience or the track record of Ryan Helley. And I get that Ryan Helley is the sexier, flashier name, but man, I'd love to see them be able to get something back for Maton. But if the market doesn't, the market dictates what happens. I just think like if I was another team in a vacuum, like I'd rather have Maton on my roster for the rest of this year than Helley. And I think there's real question with a Ryan Helley, like the role switch is a big deal. Like when's the last time he pitched in the 8th inning? And he's probably going to be their 7th inning guy now that Rogers is there. When's the last time he didn't finish a game? I think that's something that they really haven't considered. And also with Ryan Helley close to free agency, like, man, sucks for him that he's not going to be able to rack up these saves because that's what gets you paid on the relief market.
Yeah, there's a part of me that thinks, especially after the Rogers package, which again, maybe that was just the one real big. And also, I mean, it was an overpay, but I don't think it's as crazy as some people have said it was. But still, like they got, I'd say more than maybe. I feel like what they got for Rogers is more than maybe what you said for Maton Kareem there. But like, and Rogers' numbers are a little bit better on the year. 1.8 ERA, 2.13 FIP, but you're talking about 2.35 for Maton, 2.49 FIP. He's actually F4 a little bit worth a little bit more. If you look at like savant wise, like xERA, barrel percentage, hard hit percentage, ground ball percentage, average exit velocity, they're all very similar to each other. But Maton's got swing and miss when like Tyler Rogers doesn't. And you're also talking about a guy in Maton who's been traded at 3 different deadlines, has played in the postseason every single year since 2020. Like, I feel like that experience potentially matters in a move in a way that I would think other contenders would want to pay up for. But I'm not going to put my expectations sky high on Maton because at the end of the day, he's a rental arm. And so anything you get, I feel like is a win here. But after I saw that trade go through, I know people were like, oh, what could the Cardinals get for Helley? My mind went more toward, I feel like this sets a potential market or a potential where could Maton get you type of thing. But I don't know. But you also have Rodgers where he has that funky delivery, and there's some advantages to that too. And he's been uber awesome this year.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that Rodgers gives you another look out of your bullpen, but so does Maton. Like, this guy can spin it. Maton throws 89 when he throws his fastball. Like, it's also it's not a submariner, but it's really funky too. Like, Maton is a totally different look coming out of your pen. Yeah. And if you're one of these teams that has the, your big flame-throwing closers, Maton is such a fun way to mix it up late in games. I think, like, he's not as funky as Rodgers, but he's still a guy that is tough to get a read on. It really spins out of his hand. And like, that's something that teams should be interested in too. He is such a great piece to add to your bullpen. And I still think that any one of these teams gets better by adding Phil Maton. So you've got to acquire him, right? You got to go out there and do what you can, especially because so many of these teams have shown that they're in this year. Like, the Padres are all in right now. You just traded Leo DeVries. You're all in. The Mets have moved a lot of prospect capital. You're all in. So are the Phillies. So, like, why not? Why not go over the top and make sure you have the best bullpen in baseball?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm trying to see if there's any updated reporting here. It looks like the Dodgers just traded for another reliever potentially.
Yeah.
Alex Call. Oh, wait, no, sorry, that was an outfielder.
Call's an outfielder, right, from the Nationals.
But I swear I just saw someone said they just got another reliever, but have not seen that yet come through.
Can you believe the Tigers haven't really done anything with the season they've had, and like, their division's totally locked up? Like, they're gonna make the playoffs. I'm surprised they haven't augmented their roster at all.
Yeah. Red Sox and Rangers apparently are in heavy on Merrill Kelly right now. Also, the Adolis Garcia thing was fake, apparently. So
it was the guy who said he got hacked, but I'm not sure about that.
Ooh, tough.
Oops.
We'll see what happens.
I think it was Mike Rodriguez, who I was closely following for a lot of the Ohtani stuff that was not real like 2 years ago.
Well, there you go. Speaking of Ohtani, are you nervous at all about what happened there?
No, it's cramps. That's what everyone said. He's
going
to make his next start on Wednesday. It's going to be great.
Just asking. Just seeing how you're feeling.
I freaked out yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Do you guys think there's any shot Maton's not moved?
I think there is.
Oh, apparently now. I mean, if you're 45 minutes from the deadline, like, it's totally possible.
It'll be
These guys always wait to the last minute. I'm not freaked out yet.
I'm not freaked out, but I'm like,
until it hits 5 o'clock, I'm not going to be freaked out because things happen after that too. Like,
that's true. I was 100% certain though that he was gone, and now I am like 90% sure, which doesn't.
You guys are like 50% sure Arenado was gone, and I thought that was crazy.
I was under.
Yeah, we were 45. 45.
Okay, whatever. That's like.
Look, it made sense. The baseball move right now is to trade Arenado. The baseball move is to trade JoJo Romero. I can't wait to hear how they justify it. I'm trying to be more faithful in the Cardinals. Okay, I see comments, some in here, mostly not though, mostly just other people on Twitter that are not watching this stream that are still hating on Mozeliak. And it's like, dude, if you think Mozeliak's calling the shots right now, that's crazy. Okay, like, this is Chaim Bloom's thing. He's in charge right now. Like, they've publicly said that anything that affects the team in 2026 and beyond is Chaim Bloom's decision. And this totally affects the team there. Maybe Mozeliak's still holding on to the reins, but I can't imagine that it's not Chaim Bloom's decision. And so I want to trust him because I know he's a great baseball mind. I'm trying to believe that he's doing smart things.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we overstate the like who's in charge side of things too, because I think Athletic's done a really good job of it. I think MLB Trade Rumors had a story about it today. There's been a lot of stuff which I think is really helpful, talking about like the inner workings of a front office, and like most of these decisions are not, oh, Mo's in his office and is like, I just executed this trade. It's a group. It's group decision. It's group working on it. Like you talk about a deadline where like what was it, 2022, when Michael Gersh got a lot of credit for initiating and pulling off the Jordan Montgomery trade, but it wasn't like he was in his own corner and did the whole thing. It's just like he's working on stuff, Mo's working on stuff, Bloom's probably working on stuff. They're all, I mean, there's just two, like they can't just afford to have Mo on the phone with one team at a time. They're all doing it together.
No, I know.
Figure it out. But I just think that's where I'm like, I know it's been the big question, and I think it is weird. And I honestly, I have mixed feelings still about the whole transition year. But I think people have made way too much of a, is it Bloom or is it Mo? Is it Bloom? Is it Mo? I think if the Cardinals were buying right now, then it'd be a major issue because it's like, this is probably hurting Bloom. But like when they're selling, I think obviously we're all like, they're not going to like be like, hey, Bloom, we just got you this prospect. Hope you like him. It's like, they're clearly talking this through.
Like, do you think though that Chaim Bloom doesn't have the authority to be like, we are trading JoJo Romero, or like, we're going to field offers?
Jackie, I just want to envision that happening for Mo.
Jackie's been on a heater this stream, been putting some heat in the chat. But like, come on, I just can't imagine that Chaim doesn't have the authority as the GM heir apparent to be like, no, we are going to trade this guy. It is the right call. Maybe he doesn't. You know, I would like to think that he does, but I think it's ridiculous to not move him. And I think if they hold on to Maton, I'm going to be so pissed.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Cardinals related or non-Cardinals related, is there any potential big dominoes you still think could fall? Like there's still Dylan Cease hasn't been moved. I don't know if that's a name you guys think will be. Obviously Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen are still available, but obviously the Arizona Diamondbacks, especially the Gallen, could just go for the comp offer this offseason. There's also, there's just I'm trying to think. I feel like there's another big name on the board still that hasn't. Luis Roberts still a thing, which again, big name, not big production. Is there any other big names you're expecting the next 40 minutes could be moved?
I mean, I think Cease has to be moved from San Diego. Like all reports were that they wanted him gone. All reports were that they thought they could get something back and they're going to unload in other ways. And I mean, the Padres love to do this where you buy and sell at the same time and you empty out things that you don't want for value. Like they've done it before. It wouldn't shock me to see them do it this time around, but I don't know. I want the Cardinals to trade Romero and Maton both and more. I don't know how there's no other moves here. You know, like they are selling. There are guys that you're gonna cut Baker probably this offseason. Like you're telling me that you can't trade him for cash right now. Like you're telling me that the Rockies aren't interested in giving Baker 60 games down the stretch. It's crazy.
Yeah, potentially.
Siani, like you think Siani doesn't have defensive value to a team? Like the Dodgers just traded for Alex Call. How much better has he been off?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't paid attention much to Alex Call this year, if I'm being honest. But aside
from Dylan Cease, I know that Sandy Alcantara has had his name thrown around.
Oh, true.
If he gets moved, I don't think it would be the most surprising thing in the world. But haven't heard too much on that front, recently. But
yeah, I feel like the Cubs have been really quiet today, which makes me think, especially because they've been after a starter, that one of these starters is going to go to Chicago here soon. But we'll see what happens there.
I can't believe the Cubs aren't stacking up. You got to support this lineup. And Kyle Tucker is not locked up. He's going to be a free agent. And maybe you can maybe they think they have a winning pitch already with him. Like maybe there's been talk of some kind of deal getting together. But like, I can't believe they're not trying to augment and go win now and impress Tucker and keep him here or keep him there, because that's crazy. Also, you're chasing the Brewers now. Like the Cubs are in second place, which is the funniest thing in the world.
Love it. Let's go Brewers.
Yeah.
Actually, I hate the Brewers, but
we don't like the Brewers either. It's
I don't care. The Brewers are chill. I don't have any issue with the Brewers.
No, the Brewers are not chill. Don't say stuff like that.
I don't like the Cubs. Like I hate the Cubs. All in on the Brewers right now.
Well, if the Brewers were in any other division, I'd probably love them. I'd be like, I respect you so much. But
if they were in the AL Central, I would adore the Brewers. But I hate them as things stand right now. It's like
out of all the teams that are in the Central, the Brewers are probably like fourth on the position of who I dislike, or third. I mean, just ahead of the Pirates. Like, I just like the Reds more than I dislike the Brewers. I don't really care about the Brewers.
I hate the Brewers more now because we've had more like relevant.
They haven't gone anywhere. They haven't made an NLCS since like 2018.
Yeah,
They've been consistent getting to the playoffs, though.
Yeah,
but they don't do anything. They don't win.
I'd still take that over the Cardinals.
Yeah, I mean the Brewers have been making the playoffs consistently, and they do it like they do it with the old Cardinal model, which is
and they're doing this with Churio is now in year 2, 3, and Jesus Mate's on the way, and they just got Jacob Mizorowski. Like, it's not like they use those guys to have this run. Like, they've had this run, and now the like top end prospects are starting to come through. It's like, oh boy, like Brewers might be something for a while.
Don't forget about Luis Pena either.
Yeah,
they've got studs in the minors. They are churning out quality talent. Like, the Brewers just bleed good pitching for some reason right now, which sucks. Okay, like they optioned Chad Patrick with his 3.6 ERA, who probably would be our number 2 right now, because they didn't have room for him in their rotation. So like it stinks. The Brewers have also been able to ship out quality talent while not getting worse. Like, they traded away Corbin Burns, they traded away Josh Hader. And they haven't gotten worse. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Remind me,
it sucks.
I want to circle back on Nato here in a second, because I think there's a funny development of him not thinking Houston's gonna be a contender and look on what they're doing right now. So I wonder if he regrets that one. Jackie brought up a good question though. I wonder what you guys think about that. Like, how much do you think? Again, the Cardinal way is probably way overstated, but like, how much do you believe? Like, how much do you think is going to change about how the Cardinals operate under Chaim Bloom? Like, are you optimistic? Are you excited about it? Or do you think it's more of like a different flavor of what we've gotten already?
I think it's already changing when we're taking a look at all these outside hires. I mean, the Cardinals, I think a big part of the Cardinal way is just, the tradition and being able to bring up guys throughout the system, promote them within the system to bigger roles and stuff like that. Whereas, with the Rob Serfolio, he was brought in from Cleveland. Larry Day, same thing. A bunch of other guys that were brought in from other organizations, and I don't think we were used to that, at least not in the Mo regime. So I think we're already seeing a change in terms of the Cardinal way.
I think you're right, and I think at the end of the day too, it's like when we think of professional sports, especially go back to the 1900s, like the game has professionalized itself even more. It has become more analytical, and guys are experts in what they're doing. And it's not just dude had enough money to own a team and is kind of calling the shots. And there's like the front offices have expanded to like insane amount of teams, coaching staffs. Like, there's just so much more data. There's so much more thought put into this stuff, where I think the evolution of the game, there's more teams trying to do the quote unquote Cardinal way, like the Cardinals did for so long. And now it's about how can you get back on top and do it better than everyone else, which is also what they did for a long time. And they've clearly lagged behind and fallen. It's the only time we've ever heard Chaim speak publicly, except to Cardinals Magazine one time since he's been officially announced as Pobo. But I will never, like, his opening statement where he talked about like the Cardinal way, getting back to tradition, but like this organization has to get to a space where they don't rest on their laurels anymore, and that they're a team that does not take being on top or being relevant as good enough. That's actually behind. That you have to continue to innovate and be ahead of the curve. And to beat the industry, because it's uber competitive. And the second you rest for 2 seconds, someone's getting better than you. And I think that mentality, that kind of fire that we heard from Bloom, it's why I wish we could have heard him publicly all year. I think it would help Cardinal fans be a little more invested, a little more excited about the future. I love that we've gotten to hear from Rob Serfolio and have him comment. And I think it's the things that Serfolio is saying, I think is obviously in line with Bloom. And I'm curious to see how, because obviously Mo's filling Gersh's role this year. And so does Chaim move one of the guys that are currently in the front office into the official GM seat, like a Serfolio or Flores, or does he hire from outside the organization to bring in another mind with that? I would assume there's one of those two things is going to happen. It looks like Rangers just landed Merrill Kelly. But yeah, I'm excited. And again, we've talked about this before too. Doesn't mean it's going to work. Like, they could fall flat on their face. But I'm excited for something different. And I think it's hard for us to wrap our minds around these are not the same Cardinals, because even with most organizations, there's turnover in leadership every 4 to 5, 6, 7 years, 10 years at most. Like, the Cardinals have effectively been under the Mosaic leadership for almost 20 years now. And he's been a significant part of their front office for an additional 10 years. So this is seismic change happening that most organizations don't have happen like this. Or if the Band-Aid's ripped off, it's been like, fans have been through it before. But there's a generation of Cardinal fans, 2 generations of Cardinal fans that know nothing else but John Mozeliak. And it's crazy. So,
yeah. Well, on top of that too, like the Cardinal way, outside of like the very plugged in fans, which is player development, hires and whatnot, it also like to more casual fans probably just means the traditions, how much the city of St. Louis loves baseball. And like those things are just going to stay. Like I can't see the Cardinals not doing red jackets anymore. I can't see the Cardinals not having the Clydesdales come through on opening day. So a lot of that, like the tradition and the fun of it all is still going to be there, and when the Cardinals are really good, everyone's going to be really excited about those things again. It's just a matter of how much time that takes. But all of that's going to stay the same, which is really nice. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to change the Cardinal way to most people. I mean, a lot of people probably couldn't tell you exactly what John Mozeliak's role is even called right now.
Oh, Willie Castro to the Cubs.
Interesting. You remember that one guy who said his Cubs deadline prediction was like it was like Alcantara, Cease, Eugenio Suarez, and then like multiple high-end relievers. He was like, I think final predictions, we're getting all 7 of these things.
Yeah, it wasn't just like some random fan account. It was like one of their media guys, like media guys.
Chicago media is something else, man.
I remember the last part of it too. He was like, and like 2 middle, like he was like trying to like act like it was realistic in terms of like, and just like 2 like middle relievers, like it'll be okay. But no, like you weren't gonna do any of that, let alone all.
They haven't done any of it, which is hilarious. I mean, they got Soroka.
It would have been kind of funny though for the Cubs to push all their chips in and potentially lose Kyle Tucker this offseason, but we'll see.
I know I would have enjoyed it. I really wanted to see them trade Owen Casey, but that was not meant to be. He's going to be a dog.
I mean, they could still do the Sandy thing. They could be the Cease team. Who knows? But
I'd be shocked if Cease, Sandy, and Gallen, if all 3 of them are still on their current teams in 30 minutes.
Wait, what if we traded Sandy to the Cubs?
Please don't do that. I hear there's an opening.
Oh,
I mean, they could use a prospect. They have a mid-lane farm system.
That's true. It's true. Hey, there's an opening.
And we've got 7 all-stars over here, so I think we're fine.
We wish. Man, we suck. I was thinking the other day about how many like bad things have happened to the Cardinals in recent years. It's like, can anything just break our way? Please.
Oh man, what a time.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna hold on to Romero. It looks. I mean, at this point, do you think that there's even a chance they make 2 more trades, or do you think it's just Maton?
It's probably just Maton.
This feels eerily reminiscent of Dylan Carlson for Sean Armstrong.
Oh, I don't think it'd be that bad.
No, I know. I'm just remembering it from last time.
I guess here's the thing. Like, if this ends up, well, I guess never mind. We could do deadline, our thoughts on the deadline when it passes. We don't need to. Actually, you know what? People pop in and out. Let's just go and start doing it. If this is all the Cardinals do, and let's assume they move Maton, is this a successful deadline? Is it a failure? Is it something in between? I think it's at least partially successful. You did, because there is a world where they bought. There is a world, and they didn't do that. And there's a world where they held, and they didn't do that either. So I give them some positive grade, but like, I feels like they maybe left a lot of meat on the bone here.
Yeah, I'd say it's a good, not great deadline, especially if they don't move on from JoJo Romero. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to get some value back for him. But hey, I mean, they moved all, assuming they move Phil Maton, they would have moved all their would-be free agents. So, I mean, at the least, I mean, they're doing something. They're not just staying pat and not moving anyone. At least they moved the pieces that are, free agents at the end of the year, and they got some quality players back in return. So, not the greatest deadline, but I still think it's solid overall. And they got the job done, but I wish it was a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't you call this like a passing grade? If Maton gets moved, if Maton doesn't get moved, then you can talk about it being like a C- probably. But I would say like it's at least a passing grade. Like they moved the guys they said they were going to. The return for some of them disappointing. Fetty, very disappointing. I'm kind of counting that as part of this deadline saga. But the return for Helley, I was pleasantly surprised. I think looking at Matz and more in terms of what the market dictates and where Matz actually fits into some of these bullpens. Like, I think that's a pleasant return. It didn't blow me away. And I wish they'd made more moves, but making the moves they had to make and getting okay returns, I would say like C+ is where I'm at right now. Maybe a B- if they really kill it with the Matz trade. But I think to get an A, you would have had to move Romero. You would have had to declutter your 40 man and maybe even make another big move, like move New Bar or something. I would have given you an A if all the returns were blowing me away too.
What do you think?
Some breaking news.
Oh, really?
The Red Sox have made a late effort to acquire Joe Ryan.
Wow. Okay. That could be big. Oh, Sandy's gone again.
His Wi-Fi keeps bugging, man. That's crazy.
He's back. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like
I gotta go.
I definitely need more to happen. Like, I'd be disappointed if all they did was trade those three, and Eric Fetty was not a trade. Okay, you got cash back. Who cares? Doesn't matter. I think, yeah, I don't know. I would be pretty disappointed if that's all they did. That's probably all they're going to end up doing. I would say it's not a failure of a deadline. They could have stood pat and done nothing, and that would have been like absolutely terrible. But like they're in the right direction. Like, they're doing the things that they need to be doing, the bare minimum. So like a C. If all they do is trade Maton. If they don't trade Maton, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
Oh, more breaking news.
Joe Ryan has been traded to the Red Sox.
Whoa, it happened. Like, who reported it? I haven't seen it yet.
MLB on Fox.
Wow, that's huge. I'm very interested to see what happens with that. Oh my gosh. And apparently the Padres and Astros are still very heavy on the Dylan Cease things. Also, Cole, appreciate the super chat there. We always appreciate anyone's support. Again, if you're watching right now, it's super active live stream right now. Super fun. Like and subscribe. That's honestly it helps the channel out so much more than you would think. Commenting on the video afterward. We really appreciate if you're enjoying this content, want more Cardinals content. Hit the like button, helps out a ton. Subscribe, helps out a ton. Share it with people that you know. We really appreciate it. Kale, I also said Cole. Kale, I think we're saying probably 90% chance he gets moved to this point. We'll see what happens here soon. But I'm guessing there's no info yet. Oh, again, it's happening.
Rangers are pushing to acquire Phil Maton, or still actively trying.
Okay, so that's Ken Rosenthal a minute ago.
Left-hand pitcher Phil Maton.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Ken.
Who's that?
Ken. Who's that?
That would be something.
It'd be kind of funny if the Cardinals convinced another team he's a lefty, just go after him. But hey, we do have a lefty Rangers if you want him. JoJo Romero, come get him.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about John King, but
apparently MLB on Fox, they thought Ryan got traded, but he actually didn't get traded. So
they
what?
Yeah, they posted it, but that wasn't the actual report.
A little athletic action from last night. Brutal.
How many people? So the Athletic did mess that up. MLB on Fox messed that up, and then what is it? Mike Rodriguez or whatever got allegedly hacked, which he definitely didn't. That's it. That I don't know. If I had access to Jeff Passan's account, that's not what I would tweet. I would tweet something so much crazier. He just got it wrong. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just taking accountability is always the best way forward and trying to cover stuff up or lie.
Francis Romero just said that the Twins are expected to trade Ryan. So, I mean, we could see that trade still end up
for sure.
Fruition.
And it makes sense too. They're clearly I just saw today the only two players they have under contract next year that are not arbitration or pre-arb is Pablo Lopez and Byron Buxton. They are tearing it down financially, at least.
It's not going to happen, but would you guys have explored something like this for the Cardinals? Joe Ryan, someone that's under control, a starting pitcher that I think would slate in the top of your rotation. I'm sure it's going to take a lot, to get that player. But at the same time, do the Cardinals have a pitcher like him? I mean,
yeah. I'll be interested to see what the return is. I think part of the problem when you make those moves at this deadline and you're not a seller or you're not going for the contention is the other teams are also paying up for the fact that they're trying to get them for the postseason run. So you're like outbidding guys that also are incentivized by the last 2 to 3 months of his deal when you're not. And so I wonder, like, is now the time to go get Joe Ryan? Like, is the whoever is then who's the Joe Ryan in 2 years, and you go push the chips in? I definitely won't say no, but it depends. Like, what if it's the Red Sox? What do they give up? I almost fell for a fake tweet that said Quan to the Royals. I was like, that can't be right. I would say probably not. I guess some people be like, you should have gone for Shane Bieber. And I'm like, I feel like the Blue Jays gave up a lot for Shane Bieber, and he can opt out in the offseason. And again, they're paying a lot because they want him in their postseason rotation, which you just don't care about right now. But I don't know. I can see both sides. Andrew, are you at the point where it's like you got to go get that talent, figure it out else later, or are you kind of like, yeah, stay out of that?
For which one? Sorry, I'm
Joe Ryan. Sorry.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like these pitchers are just like I don't know. Trading for starting pitching at this deadline has been kind of slim. So like, not a lot of starters have been moved. So I think you definitely go out and make that happen if you can.
He's got 2 more years of team control after this year.
If you were serious about extending him this offseason, I could see it. Yeah, I don't know.
It's going to take a whole lot. I mean, I'm really interested to see what the package is like if he does end up getting traded.
You guys think Quan gets traded? We didn't talk about that much. It seemed like people are convinced the Guardians were going to do it, but
I haven't heard too much smoke. But yeah, it did seem like they were looking to trade him, but I don't know if the plan has changed.
He's got 2 more years of control after this year too, so they definitely don't have to make a move there. Yeah, apparently it's great. I mean, would you rather have traded to Leo DeVeris, whatever, I cannot remember his name off the top of my head right now, for Stephen Kwan or Mason Miller? I think Mason Miller.
But what about Joe Ryan?
I probably would rather have Joe Ryan.
Joe Ryan, right?
Yeah. Like I was even thinking, like you have what's his face? There's another guy with control right now that's being talked about. Not Mitch Keller. There's someone else that I was like, I wonder why. Would you rather have Mackenzie Gore, or would you rather have Mason Miller?
Gore is 2 more years, right? After this year,
2 more.
Yeah, I think I would do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I know they got Sears too, which matters ish. But
I'm just not 100% sold on Mason Miller starting. Like, the injury track record is like very extensive. And I mean, if they're able to work that out, I mean, you could be looking at a guy that has the stuff to be a top of the rotation starter, but there's just too much risk you're taking on there. And we know he's a high leverage bullpen option, but still, even with all the control, I think that's just too much to give up for a reliever.
Yeah. At least with the Padres too, like in a way that the Cardinals did that move, you couldn't tell me that, or you couldn't convince me under Mo that they were going to get creative, but you could also see the, I'm seeing Maton to the Rangers. I don't know if that is for sure where it's at right now. But you could see them flipping him next year and getting obviously not as much value, but like they made the run for the postseason next year. They do the Soto thing and they flip them, but sounds like Maton to the Rangers might be close to being done. But I think people are just talking about.
No, I think that's just the Ken Rosenthal thing.
I think you're right. Also, Mero Keller already happened.
Yep, this is just like Carlson all over again. We're not going to get a fun trade deadline stream. This is great.
I think we're going to end up finding out the return after the deadline.
Yeah, there's definitely a good chance of that. I guess as we're kind of just like looking at things, and we'll stop if something major happens. But I know people bounce in and out of the stream, Kareem, and so not everyone's got to hear your full reaction to So I mean, it might feel redundant saying it, but I think most people here probably didn't hear your. Royals are getting Bailey Falter, if that matters all that much. Is there a? Do you want to give some live reactions to the or post trade reactions to the haul? Or sorry, I'm just throwing a lot of words out there for the return for Ryan Helley.
Yeah, I thought the Cardinals did well with the return. They got 3 prospects that are all going to slate into my updated top 20 in the system. Jesus Baez, I think, is the front. I think he's the top name that they got back. He's a guy that just 20 years old, posting above average offensive production in high A shortstop, third baseman. I think we'll see him play some second base as well, but it's an intriguing hit power combo. The StatCast data was really impressive last year in his age 19 season in the Florida State League. Nate Dome, he's got good fastball traits, mid-90s fastball. He's been up to the high 90s in the past. Starting pitcher, good gyro slider. I think he's got some decent secondaries. I think his changeup has a chance to get better. I think the specs are pretty solid, but I think, fastball slider primarily. He was a name that I had my eyes on last year. I thought the Cardinals might target him with their 3rd round pick. And when they didn't end up picking him, I was a little disappointed. But they're getting him in their organization now, which is nice. And then the last name, Frank Elisalt, I think he's the under the radar name in this package. A lot of people just view him as, like, I wouldn't say a throw in, but more of a lottery ticket. But I don't think that. I think he's another, I think he's a lot closer to Nate Dome and Jesus Baez than a lot of people think. He might honestly be. I think Baez is going to be ranked ahead of him, but he might be ranked ahead of Nate Dome on my top prospect list. And this is a guy, 19th round pick from last year, I believe. Really intriguing stuff. Mid-90s fastball. It's from a really low arm slot, and he still manages to get decent ride on the pitch and a ton of arm side run. It's a high efficiency offering, plethora of intriguing secondaries. The command and control isn't at the level of a Nate Dome. He hasn't yet shown an ability to pitch deep into games consistently. This is someone that is going to be developed as a starter in the Cardinals organization, I imagine. And, overall, like, the stuff is really intriguing with him. And even if he does end up sliding into a bullpen role, I think he's got an intriguing mix to work out in the bullpen. So I think the Cardinals got 3 pretty intriguing prospects. I don't think either of these 3 are going to slot into my top 10 in the organization, but in between 10 to 20 range, I think all 3 will fit in nicely there. So, I mean, I thought it was a great return. 3 solid prospects that they got back.
A couple news bits real quick. Not that we're surprised, but Derek Gould is now reporting that Nolan Arenado is expected to remain in St. Louis. So that is not surprising, but that's where we're at right now. I do think if we have some time, we should talk about, I'm sure Arenado's really regretting not going to Houston now, because they clearly are buyers. They're clearly been really good. But I told Sandy I was going to do this on the stream. I forgot about it. I want you guys to guess. What do you guys think the Cardinals, this is from Fangraphs, I think they do the best job of when in terms of payroll accounting. What do you think the Cardinals payroll is now at after selling off Helley, Matz, and some other moves they made this year? What do you think their estimated 2025 payroll is?
Like 130.
Okay, 130. What do you think, Kareem?
Oh, am I muted?
Oh, no, you're good.
Yeah, I'm with Andrew.
It's down to 117. They were in the 190s 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So that's one of the things I almost tweeted about yesterday, and then I was like, I don't feel like getting the replies on it. Gould's talked about if they're moving, like, we know if they're moving Nato that you're trying to move money. Like, he's not worth anything. Sonny Gray, they weren't interested in eating some of the contract to get prospects back. They were hopeful they can move the whole contract. Wilson Contreras, I'm guessing, would have been similar. Matt's obviously they got to move the full contract, which they were interested in. Maton was only $2 million, but that was the remaining of the $12.5 million for Steven Matz. If they could have moved Arenado or something, they would have moved more money. They've moved a lot of money off, and I'm not. I hope people don't hear me. I'm not defending the DeWitt family or anything right now. I'm just saying, like, we know how they operate, and so they went from 2000. Oh, here we go. Dustin Maton. Wow. Okay. We'll have to break that down as the return comes in. But like for 24 straight years, they were top 5 in attendance every year and usually top 3. They've dropped to 18th this year. Like, and they had the hit revenue wise from the TV deal. Like, this is not defending them. I'm just saying, like, things are Nestor Cortez to the Brewer or to the Padres, but very different financial landscape right now, and I'll be very curious to see if they have cut so far back that they feel like they can manage the like that. Now they're not taking losses, but that they've maybe been more net neutral revenue wise, or if they're going to cut further and further. Obviously, they were hopeful to cut Nato and Gray's contract, which would be further and further. But how much of that is they're trying to make up for losses right now to reinvest in 2027? I'd probably say not 2026. Or how much of it is this is the new normal? Or at least the new normal until they really prove they're a competitor again. So, again, payroll's not everything. Like Brewers, Guardians, Rays prove that you can win without spending money. But when you're in a market like St. Louis, you should augment good organizational philosophy and player development with spending. And they have almost down $100 million now. It's closer to cutting $100 million off their payroll than like $20 million, which is crazy.
Craig Mish just reported that the Marlins will not be trading Sandy Alcantara today.
Wow. Okay. Big.
I think a lot of news is going to be popping the next 10, 20 minutes.
Yeah, seems like the Astros are so hot for Dylan Cease right now. Any Andrew, any thoughts on the Dodgers trade Dustin May?
It doesn't matter. He wasn't going to be. As long as it doesn't push Ohtani's start back to Friday, I don't care. But I don't know. Dustin May was a guy that was thrown around, I think, for some Cardinals players. I think like Lars Nootbaar. I saw a Cardinals fan throw that out there for Lars Nootbaar. I was like, absolutely not. Please don't say that ever again. Like, it's just not a good thing to be wishing. But I don't know. He's a depth arm.
Very curious to see what happens.
Maybe not for the Cardinals, but he's a depth arm for the Dodgers. Probably be like the Red Sox 5th starter.
Yeah, for the Cardinals, he'd be more than that. That's for sure. Curious to see what happens here because of Joe Ryan. Like, the Red Sox seem to be the only team really connected to him. Do the Red Sox add 2 arms here? Do they stop at Dustin May and Joe Ryan goes somewhere else or doesn't move at all? We'll keep watching here. Cubs. Willie Castro is their move today, which, a little underwhelming. Brewers have done nothing, so would have thought they would at least try to add something. You would think that they're about to move Dylan Cease the Padres after getting Cortez. It feels like a move to make sure they have the rotation depth, but
yeah, I think we'll see a Dylan Cease trade. But we're getting closer. Only 8 minutes till the deadline.
Yeah. And reminder, if you're listening now, when it comes to the trade deadline, moves can be made up till 5 p.m. Central Time, but as long as they're agreed to by then, they can be announced later. So I don't know how long we'll be going past 5, but even if it hits 5, we haven't heard Phil Maton yet or haven't heard Joe Ryan or some of these other things, it doesn't mean they won't be reported in 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes later because they're still submitting to the league offices or paperwork's being filed. Like, it's a little complicated about how much you have to have done before that deadline, but I do think here we go. Rangers are close to acquiring Phil Maton per Ken Rosenthal. It's like a new one.
It's happening.
Okay, Katie Wu as well.
It's happening. Let's go.
Wow. Here we go. Phil Maton to the Rangers. They got it done. Or it seems like they got it done.
Let's go. 2 minor league prospects are coming to St. Louis.
Okay. Taylor Rogers went from the Pirates to the Cubs. Interesting. Let's keep an eye on that, see what happens. Okay, they moved Maton. It looks like Romero, though, is not happening.
Boo-hoo.
But if you're listening now, that's not a boo-hoo as in Scream's like, I'm glad that didn't happen. We're all boo-hoo that should have happened.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Oh, boy. We'll see what happens here, but that's brutal. At least they moved Maton, though. I was a little nervous that might not happen. Do you guys think Texas is a team that could do something in the postseason?
Maybe.
Oh, Sebastian Walcott.
Let's go.
Just could you imagine? If anyone sees, and please don't troll us, if you see the real return, like maybe put real return in the chat because you can make your jokes if you want to. But if you see the real return, I know we're all trying to find it, but
Jack Leiter.
Jack Leiter. Imagine. Yeah, it looks like Romero is saying a Cardinal, which is I don't understand it at all, but
I think we should have the prospect soon. When Katie Wu said 2 minor leaguers, so I think we'll have the names.
Yep, Jeff Passan just confirmed that as well. Andrew Kisner's coming back. Could you imagine? Kumar Rocker. That'd be funny. Let's see. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to find the return here. I know that's what everyone cares most about here. If you find it before we do, feel free to throw it in the chat.
And the Cardinals are familiar trading with the Rangers, going back, the Rovies to JC trade.
True.
Yeah.
True that.
Don't know what to expect here, but should get someone notable.
True.
Yeah, it's good they got those moves done. I'm disappointed that they didn't get Romero, but whatever.
I'm disappointed they didn't move Mikolas. I thought that his trade value was so high. His velocity's been up 3 miles an hour. And, John Heyman was telling me.
Yeah, John Heyman. Oh man, I wonder how much money the Cardinals would have had to eat on that to make that happen.
I don't think he wants to move on. I think he wants to stay in St. Louis for the rest of that contract.
Probably. Well, he said something to reporters this week that he really hopes he can pitch well enough down the stretch that they want him back.
Oh my God.
I know. He's like, I want to pitch well enough that they think to themselves, we want him back. Like,
no,
that's insane.
Absolutely not.
He can go back to the KBO.
Oh my gosh.
To NPB, Eric Petty is a KBO guy.
Oh, right. NPB. My bad.
Oh man. I guess again, Den's been on the Nato stuff and it's been hit or miss, but Gould or someone reported today, or Nato said publicly this week that, or today, I think it was, or yesterday, that he had some stuff to think about, quote unquote, in terms of whether or not he was going to be open to some other destinations beyond his initial list. But at least from Den's perspective, Nato wasn't willing to open himself up to Detroit Tigers. I'm not saying that Tigers are interested, but maybe there would have been one of those teams that could have been interested in Nato, which also at the same time too, like, dang, it's another confirmation of Phil Maton, but not the return. Like, I know we're talking in terms of baseball and what makes sense, but like these guys do have families, and like if someone's comfortable in St. Louis and would like to, if they're going to move, it's these 4 places. Like, you can't blame the guy. The Cardinals gave him the no trade clause, and so can't get mad at a guy for enacting it. It's just, I think it's
the Rockies
Cardinals side of it is frustrating. Well, I mean, the Cardinals acquired him and said yes to that, so like it's part of the reality of bringing him in. So, and I mean, again, hindsight's 2020, but like the Dodgers really wanted him at the 2023 trade deadline, and the Cardinals said nope. And so, like, hindsight again 2020, but like they had a chance there. But
do you guys think he'll be moved in the offseason? I mean, the Cardinals are going to clearly try, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends how much money they eat, right? Like, they eat a lot of it, it becomes more palatable. for another team. But I don't know how much the DeWitt family will eat before they're like, it's not worth it. Any just off the top, like I don't know, Kareem, if there's any guys in the Rangers system that you're like, that'd be kind of nice if Maton was part of it, that's realistic, or kind of just waiting to see.
Just waiting to see. I'm probably not going to have immediate thoughts on most of these guys. So, but yeah, I'll definitely look into the two players that we get back, and we'll have my thoughts over on Twitter.
Not really news, but I think it's fair to say this is the last trade of John Mozeliak's career with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
We have to start scripting our trade history video that we're gonna do.
That's true.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please. And the final trade of the Mozeliak era is
I'll never forget Phil Maton.
Maton at the buzzer.
He should have been in the All-Star game.
You didn't want to see Jacob Mizorowski, who had thrown the same amount of starts as Shohei Ohtani.
Hey, we appreciate everyone watching right now. I feel like this is so bad. We can't get the return. Come on, someone. Oh, here we go. Oh no, dang it! I thought I had it. Bah! If anyone sees it, please let us know. Oh, the Yankees are getting Duvall from the Giants. That's
Camilo?
interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's funny. I guess the Cubs, I mean, we still have a little bit of time to figure this out, but it would be funny if the Cubs got absolutely nothing other than Willie Castro, Mike Soroka.
True.
I would enjoy that.
It is officially 5:00. Again, we've talked about this. If you're just joining in, deals can be reported after 5 as long as they were agreed to beforehand. Sometimes there's still some things that need worked out, but it's still okay to make those deals happen. So, not saying Cardinals will pull in that camp, but they could. Or more specifically, we might see some more moves come across the league. So there will be more especially over the next 30 minutes. There'll be more deals that trickle in, whether they're big or small. According to Derek Gould, at least, because most people are saying it's close or finalizing. So they might even be one of those buzzer teams right now that don't have it all finally submitted. I mean, they've agreed on the names. There's no way they're still debating names. Like, you can't do that at this point, but we'll see what happens here. I guess, especially because, Kareem, like to your point, we're not going to be able to give you guys, I mean, we're going to react as much as we can, but to be fair, in the coming days and weeks will be easier to reflect on what these potential returns were. But now knowing that the deadline ended up being Helley, Matz, Maton, where would you guys give a grade in terms of moves here? Again, we don't know what happened here yet, but
I think a B-. I think, if they had moved on from JoJo, I think that I'd give a much better grade. It's just they did what they were expected to do, and I thought they got decent return for their players back. So I mean, I can't say it's a bad deadline, but at the same time, they didn't do anything out of the park.
True. Rays just got Griffin Jacks. That's huge. And Charlie Morton's going to the Tigers, so they did make a move. I would say I'm leaning C+, maybe B-. I'd say, I guess, probably B-. I feel like, to your point, if they did JoJo or if they made a deal that made sense with one of those bats, it could jump up into the A range. Like, I don't know if there was a B or a B+. It was either they hit a home run and get an A, or it's okay. It's like better than average, or it could have been bad. Like, they could have done nothing. Like, that is a very possible Cardinals thing, is they could have done nothing, which, again, bar's low there. Or they could have bought, which would have been insane. But they did move the rental arms, and they didn't hold any of them. Like, that's another thing. They could have done just Helley, we keep Maton, we keep Matz, and they did all three. So that's good.
Yeah, I wish they were a little. It's probably harder to say, but I wish they would have gotten a little bit more creative and tried to move off some, redundant pieces on the 40-man or some guys that, might not have a place on this team beyond, the offseason. But at the same time, I think it's easier said than done. A lot of teams probably aren't willing to give up even lottery tickets for those names. But yeah, I thought it was an okay deadline. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the Cardinals had the greatest deadline ever. But at the same time, to sit here and say that it was a failure is not right. Like, I think that they moved on from their pieces that are free agents at the end of the year. And I think that's a plus at least.
Yeah, I might honestly lean more C+ now, because I think to your, like, even though you said it's easier said than done, say they didn't do JoJo, they didn't do any of the young bats, and they didn't try to do any 40-man roster clutter. And we've seen plenty, like the Twins have just gone full fire sale and moved a ton of guys. Like, they just figured out how to move Carlos Correa's contract in like 2 days. Like, that's complicated. Like, teams can do complicated, and the Cardinals don't love to do complicated. And it's just, I don't know. Like, even moving JoJo, that's not complicated. It just takes finding the right buyer to do it. So I don't know. I'll have to sit on it a little bit more, but I would say it's probably in the C+ to B- range. Especially, and I mean, it's probably a symptom of the market, but they took advantage of a reliever. Well, they didn't trade JoJo, but with the other 3 guys, they took advantage of a seller's market with relievers. But Andrew, where would you grade it?
Yeah, I feel like I would give it a C. I think they should have done more. Like you did the minimum. You got rid of those 3 relievers, which is fine. I don't know. Just JoJo should have gotten rid of. You should have tried to do something creative, I think, with one of the young bats. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, it's just like, this is what the bare minimum of what we expected to happen at this trade deadline. Nothing particularly exciting, nothing particularly like terrible either. Like, we'll see what happens. Maybe they got some really exciting prospects back. Like, that's just something that we'll have to see later. What?
The Dodgers got James Tibbs III back for Dustin May.
Oh.
This Devers trade is just the gift that keeps on giving. Oh my gosh. Imagine if James Tibbs ends up being awesome for the Dodgers. And he's just like mashing against the Giants all the time. Oh my gosh. Do you guys think Dylan Cease got moved?
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I feel like you probably didn't, but yeah, okay. Yeah, right. As I said, the Astros are done, according to Chandler Rome, who is just a great reporter in general, but obviously is plugged in with the Astros. And the Dylan Cease talks were legitimate, but ultimately they couldn't get over the hump at the very end.
Can they announce the prospects already?
Yeah, for real. Holy cow. Come on, Katie. Come on, Derek. Someone grab it. How do you guys feel like the deadline overall was? I think this was really fun. I thought it could be super boring.
It was okay.
Really?
The Mason Miller trade was like really shocking. Like, to see Leo DeVries in return for Miller. I mean, that's a surprising. I mean, I would call that a blockbuster. I mean,
yeah.
But aside from that, I mean, I don't think it was anything spectacular. They've been better trade deadlines.
I feel like compared to what I thought it was going to be, it's been really fun. Because I mean, you did see Griffin Jax move to Taj Bradley for Griffin Jax. Whoa, that's a weird one.
Would you have traded Helley for Taj Bradley?
Oh yeah. Would you?
Wait, Griffin.
Oh, here we go. Here's the return.
Okay.
Left-handed pitcher Mason Molina, right-handed pitcher Skylar Hales, and international money in return for Phil Maton.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to give too much info right now.
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can quickly get up top 30 for Baseball America at least and see where. I mean, obviously that's not much. It's just info for people. I'm not trying to give some hot take analysis here from that. So again, we've got Mason Molina, left-handed pitcher, and Skylar Hales plus international money. Gosh, Baseball America, you always have to like relog in every time. So annoying.
The 27th and 28th prospects on MLB Pipeline.
Okay, on Pipeline. Curious what Baseball America has them at.
I don't have Baseball America, but
I'm pulling it up now. Oh gosh.
Hills is in AAA, and Molina's in high
A. Looks like Baseball America doesn't have either in their top 30.
Oh.
Again, it's not the end of the world, but still. Oh, this is preseason. Oh no, it's updated. Oof.
250K international money. I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah. Honestly, that might have been the win here then. Which, again, not trying to sell it for people necessarily, but I think it's one of those things that we underrate or don't think enough about. And this front office, hopefully new front office, is going to take advantage of the international market in a way the previous regime struggled with quite a bit. I mean, you got an Ivan
bullpen arm, so maybe he'll turn into like a John King type. I don't know. In AAA, his numbers haven't looked very good, but who knows?
Hales is in AAA, but he's not Rule 5 eligible until next year, so you won't have to protect him.
I guess that's fine. Oh man, woof.
I'm trying to pull up his pitch data in AAA. Seems to have some pretty good swing and miss stuff.
This is unfortunate.
Yeah. Wow. Also, I mean, Kareem, I correct me if I'm wrong there, but $250K international money is not nothing. Like that's a pretty substantial amount of money to have move in a deal. I'm trying to think
that's a decent amount. Yeah.
Because like this isn't something where you can just internationally you can slightly go over your cap, but you can't like there's not that much you can do. So yeah, like right now Rodriguez signed for $300K. So we'll see. It's one of those deals that we're not gonna be able to really comment on for another like 7 years, but we'll see. Oh boy. I
mean, it is what it is. Phil Maton, you signed for $2 million, not really expecting too much out of him, but end up getting some prospects back.
Yeah.
I mean, Ivan Herrera was a good international prospect. So.
Oh man. Are we already looking forward to the 2026 trade deadline, guys?
No, the draft comes first, right?
Oh, true. That's the next exciting event here.
Maybe we'll be picking 11th.
Aside from JoJo, who else do we have that's a free agent at the end of next year?
Let's see. Yeah, Sonny Gray, kind of. He's got a team option, but mutual option that's 30 million. So I think it's basically an expiring at that point. Okay, sorry, the Cardinals is not popping up. Here we go. It might just be Gray. Gray and JoJo are the only impending free agents after next year.
What about John King?
Padres kept Dylan Cease. John King has another year of control after that. Everyone has control through 2027 besides JoJo and Sonny Gray.
But maybe that's the time someone like a Nootbaar gets moved, because that would be the one and the half year control for 2026. Similarly to like a Tommy Edman in the past or a Harrison Bader. So maybe they can move on from a piece like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be. I'm curious to see if they extend any guys in the offseason with Heimblum taking over. Is Brendan Donovan someone that they see as a long-term fit for the organization? Dion. I mean, I would love that. But Donovan, Nootbaar, do they extend Herrera beyond his, years of control? Mason Wynn, like I think they could do. I think there's a lot of players that they could extend out, at least out until they're arbitration years. So yeah, looking forward to seeing, Chaim Bloom's first off season as the president of baseball operations, and it should be fun.
Yeah, and on top of that, who do they extend? But also, it doesn't mean they will, but could they extend anyone? Or do they, like we talked about Nootbaar with the year half control at the deadline, do they trade him in the offseason? Is Nolan Gorman offseason guy? Is Brendan Donovan offseason guy? Is Alec Burleson? Like, there's different names here that and what happens with Sonny Gray and Nolan Arenado and Wilson Contreras. Like, by that point, I know he wants to be a Cardinal. Like, I believe him, but he can change his mind. He's in full right to do that in the offseason if he wants to. I think this offseason, I think could be really interesting. There's a world where it ends up being pretty slow. But I'd be shocked if he doesn't move any of the quote unquote young core, because it is just convoluted, and you would think he wants to start building this in his own image a little bit more. And he's not tied to these guys like Mo was, right? They're not like quote unquote his guys, so he might be a little more ruthless with it than Mo would have been. But oh man, what a deadline day. Oh boy.
I feel like everything happened yesterday, just like last year, where it's like you got Fetty last year, and that was it, the big thing. And then we spent 2 hours on here waiting for Dylan Carlson to get traded. But honestly, I think the Carlson trade was better than the Fetty trade. But you know what do I know?
I mean, we don't know what the Fetty trade is yet. I mean, could they get a player back in return?
Okay. Well, okay, whatever.
Maybe. We'll see. Oh gosh, I am still shocked that Griffin Jacks for Bradley 1-for-1. That's so interesting.
Does Jacks have?
He has 2 years of control like Duran did.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense.
Which Bradley, I think, is 3 or 4 more after this. It just doesn't feel like the Rays to go after a high end reliever like that. But
yeah, that's interesting. But Griffin Jacks, I mean, he's one of my favorite relievers in baseball. I mean, his sweeper is so good. I know he's having a little bit of a down year, but I still think he's been one of the best relievers past few years.
Yeah. I know people. Go ahead.
He was in the bullpen now.
Huh.
Fernandez, Roycroft.
Who do you guys think is going to take the biggest step up in terms of, relievers with all these, departures?
Riley O'Brien.
Yeah.
You think O'Brien?
Like opportunity, or who will rise to the occasion?
Who will rise to the occasion?
I can see Fernandez rising from the ashes, where it's like, not that he's like some closer, but it's like, oh yeah, Ryan Fernandez. I forgot. He's like, actually, he can be pretty decent. But
what about Graceffo, Granillo? I mean, there's a lot of guys.
Yeah. And also, I'm curious, does Kyle Leahy get some starts down the stretch?
I think you do something like
Ollie was asked about it. He's non-committal. But
some of the older guys down in AAA, you could give them the Jacob Bosiakovic treatment, add them to the 40-man, and then cut them at the end of the season.
Jack Ralston, my boy.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I think my pick would probably be O'Brien, but Granillo. I always said Granillo. Granillo would probably be my second. I like Graceffo. I'm just not sold on it. I feel like people are like, oh, Graceffo could be the next closer, which I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
But I can see it though too. But
Sponson
I think it's
too.
Yes. I mean, I think it was Bernie put it out or something. Or I saw someone that if he qualified, he had the lowest batting average allowed against this year of all relievers in baseball. So Sponson's been pretty darn good. I mean, again, I'm not trying to act like he's now top 10 reliever in baseball. Like, not at all trying to say that, but
I'm still a Chris Roycroft believer.
Okay. The Roycroft on the mound. Maybe Mason Wynn gets in some games. We'll see. Canelo stole that one from you. Curtis Taylor's time to shine. You never know.
Potentially.
Okay, the Royals just got Yaz. That's interesting, Mike. Yes. You know what I'm trying to say. My brain is dying right now. The Twins are paying $33 million of Correa's $103 million remaining. It's quite a bit.
That's a significant amount. I wasn't expecting that much. I still believe in Correa. I know we talked about it earlier, but I don't think he's going to be on a downturn, and I think we could see him get back to being a 20 plus above league average offensive producer at the next level, at least.
Yeah, I forget. I need to look into it, but there's vesting options that add like 3 more years onto the deal, and I'm curious what those are, because that's what would scare me more. So it's not the next 3 years, but the next 6 years. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, it ends up bringing the AAV down for Houston about 17.5. That's more. I mean, I don't think it's bad at all. Except I don't know if that counts I don't think that counts the vesting option years. So I think that, which are in the 20s. 25 mil range, I think. So, again, if you're tuning in late or toward the end of this podcast, we already kind of did the rant. I'll do it again. Not trading JoJo was horrible. Like, that didn't make any sense at all. I understand maybe Newpart didn't have quite the market you wanted, or Gorman or Donovan, and those guys have 2+ years of control, but it made 0 sense not to trade JoJo. And so the fact that we've moved past the deadline and Phil Maton was the only move they made today is ridiculous. Like that, I would love to hear what their response is. I hope people ask them like why JoJo was not a guy that got moved, and I'm sure they won't give a whole lot there. But I don't understand it. I really don't. So I feel like you could have gotten something really nice there. I think it could have been in the range of even Helley, if not more. Probably not more, but in the range. And you sat in your hands there, and crazy to me. I don't understand it.
Yep, there you go. Hopefully it doesn't age as bad as the Fetty take that we had at the start of the season, but
well, that didn't age bad.
Know. Or I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
the Fetty aged badly.
Yeah. Any lasting thoughts from the deadline, guys? It's been fun hanging with you guys. I guess the Cardinals side of it wasn't fun.
I think it was more fun than it was last year.
True.
Where like we were expecting maybe a little bit more than Eric Fetty and Sean Armstrong and Tommy Pham. I don't know. Maybe in hindsight, I just don't like that deadline because whatever.
Yeah.
I thought the Helley trade, we got pretty good value back. Blaze Jordan, we'll see if he gets a run at the big league level.
But he has such good numbers in AAA. He's like Nathan Church.
I think
that's what everyone's saying, right? He's ranked, I think, 1 spot behind Nathan Church in our rankings.
Look, I think at the very worst, he's a right-handed bat that I think can hit left-handed pitching, and I think the organization could use someone like that. But aside from him, the Maton trade, got to deep dive into these prospects a little bit more. I don't want to give my thoughts until I do so, but seems like they got a couple, top 30 prospects in the organization. Just quick glance on MLB Pipeline, but I thought it was a boring deadline. There was nothing too surprising on the Cardinals end, but they at least moved off of their free agents at the end of the season, being able to get value back for a Helley, Maton, and a Mats. I think that's a positive. So we'll see what happens in the offseason. But for now, I think it was okay. Wish it was a little bit more exciting. Other than this, it feels like, you could have predicted all 3 of these names to be moved. The returns aren't anything like I thought the Helley return was a little bit better than I thought, but nothing super crazy overall. So should be interesting what effect this has on the offseason.
Yeah.
Is Newpar someone that they're going to move in the offseason? Brendan Donovan, what's that like? Because it seems like the Cardinals were at least exploring the potential for these left-handed bats to be moved. So I mean, if there's value in the offseason, could they move on from those guys? But just overall, it's okay. Like I gave it a B- grade. Just solid deadline, but wish it was a little bit more exciting, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, can't disagree with that. I do think it's interesting from Eric though. First trade of John Mozeliak era was flipping Jim Edmonds for David Freese. Final trade is
flipping Phil Maton. Hey, maybe he
Must
thought
train-
that was that he was related to Yadier Molina.
The Molina guy. I think to me it illustrates. It's like, man, the beginning was what a start, and then man, what an end. So we'll have plenty of time to reflect on the John Mozeliak era.
What's his first name? I forgot.
Oh, the Molina guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had it pulled up. Mason Molina.
Mason Molina. Maybe he'll be a Red Jacket too.
Maybe. Well, I mean, technically David Freese isn't, even though he should be.
Well, Jim Edmonds was. Oh, I guess, yeah. David Freese got it. He's just like, nah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was 2008, or after the offseason or season going into 2008. Offseason going into 2008. So, yeah.
World Series MVP one day. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe Mason Molina is the guy.
A different team.
Fun live stream. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Again, if you're listening now and you first time tuning in, or you haven't subscribed already, we'd really appreciate it. Like the channel, like the live stream, or rate us on audio as well if you're listening on this later. Appreciate the support as always. Again, we'll probably have Birds on the Farm coming up soon, where Kareem and Sandy can talk more about the prospects coming in, as well as the draftees, because there's quite a bit there to talk about. Again, we'll have our episode on Sunday as usual, talking through just kind of aftermath of the trade deadline. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. This has been super fun, and we always appreciate the support. You guys make this so fun to do. And yeah, what a deadline. So see you guys on Sunday. Peace.
Thanks, Mo.
Thanks, Mo.